You should be ready to transition when you start talking.
There we go. Welcome, everybody. This is the Board of County Commissioners of Rio Blanco County. Today is Tuesday, December 9th. This meeting will be streamed live on the RBC YouTube channel, and we will call this meeting to order at 1:08, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment period. Any member of the public may address the board on matters which are within the jurisdiction of the board. If you are addressing the board regarding a matter listed on the agenda, you are required to limit your comments to 3 minutes per member or 5 minutes per group. The public comment time is not for questions and answers. It is your time to express your views. To ensure there is adequate public comment time, please provide your name, contact information, and any affiliation prior to the meeting by contacting the board assistant at 970-878-9575. If you would like to submit written comment, please contact the board assistant. If any member of the public would like to comment at this time, please state your name, contact information, and any affiliation for the record. Anybody in here for public comment? Anybody online for public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to line item C. This is a tentative agenda which includes all information available as of December 1st, 2025. The final tentative agenda will be posted at the RBC Historic Courthouse, 555 Main Street, Meeker, Colorado, and at the Rangeley Town Hall, 209 East Main Street, Rangeley. I would entertain a motion on line item D.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the November 10th, 2025 agenda.
I second. Sean, will you please call the roll?
Richfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to consent items, line item A.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve the below list of items of the consent agenda. That includes the payroll management report for November 21st, payroll management report for December 5th, accounts payable management reports for November, meeting minutes for October 14th, meeting minutes for November 10th, special meeting minutes for November 10th, special meeting minutes for November 13th, motor vehicle DMV report for November, and the DHS EBT register and warrant register for November, all of 2025.
I'll second. Any discussion on those? Sean, will you please call the roll?
Richfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to business. Line item A.
Can we hear it before we do a motion?
So we can. No, we should have put discussion on it first.
All right, so I would move for the approval of the bid award and contract with Revise to begin work in December of 2025 on the new Rio Blanco County website for the sake of discussion.
And I will second. So we will let you guys do your presentation.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, we do have Sean Stewart here with us, who is the representative from Revise that we've been working with. So I'll just run through quickly why I wanted to choose Revise, and then Sean's available here if you guys had any questions. So we are moving forward. I'm really excited about this. And with our challenge, as many of you have worked the backside of Civic Plus, we had several people working on the site, so it didn't have a cohesive voice, not an intuitive back-end interface. and our contract with them expires in June. So here's our opportunity. We thought about a redesign, but the one aspect that wouldn't address is just a clean slate and knowing that we're going forward with a compliant website. Also, Civic Plus chose not to compete for this proposal. They were not included in this. They contacted us and said that they thought our concerns about compliance were maybe not something that they wanted to be dealing with. So we received 32 bids. The low end 17,250 and then 240,000 on the high end. And green was revised, as you can see highlighted right here. But one thing I did want to kind of note is this really, the bids weren't apples to apples. If you're looking purely at the numbers, some of them, the one that would have been the lowest bid did not include ongoing hosting in that price. And they also didn't have their compliance, ongoing with compliance. For several of these, one of them, it only included 7 pages that they would migrate. And for most of them, if we wanted them to be monitoring compliance and scanning, it would be additional fees. So we were recommending Revise because of their strong compliance and familiarity with government websites. They have an economical package of modern apps that all work together very nicely. And Sean showed me early on what the back end looks like. It's much cleaner and more intuitive. For the proposal, our new website will adhere when it's handed over. We are also paying for this service fee where they will scan it for up to 4 times a year and help fix anything that they find. Also, this will be assistance with up to 250 pages of PDF remediation this year. And all of their apps work together beautifully. So here, if we go to Summit County, I'm going to just show you on this site. Yeah. Okay. Let's forget that. And let's just say that when you were to click on the Summit County site, if you went and clicked on this with the work session, another window would pull up that had all the details, a Zoom link, even a map, which would help our constituents know if we were in Rangeley or Meeker. This agenda app is one thing that we thought would really help Chrissy and reduce PDFs greatly. So if we went to this on this agenda app and then clicked on view, it brings the page up in an HTML format. So instead of being an attached PDF, the agenda is built and hosted right here on this page. Chrissy has the ability to attach remediated PDFs, or as I understand, she could also keep them private.
Like if we have really large documents, somebody has a 30-page document that they want part of the agenda packet, we can make it to where the VOCC can see that, but that it's not out into the public for remediation issues, because it will be stored permanently with the official records with the clerk and recorder's office.
And it also hosted online in a searchable format, so people could look in there. Step back a little bit. But on this, they could look up commissioner meeting, all these things using different searches, and it will be hosted on there. So it increases our transparency also. Form Builder, this will really help, I think, the building department. Instead of having their myriad PDFs, we can have all of them built in. We had kind of an ability to do forms with Civic Plus, but it was very limited. With this, we can do radio buttons, we can do different choices. It can be long and much more extensive. For permits, volunteer applications, and so on. One of the things that I wanted to do was a sheriff sub-site. When you look at the sheriff's page, they've really got a lot of information that they're trying to organize that didn't really fit within the structure that we have right now. So in this example, you look at Halsey, Oregon, and this would be their homepage. Then here on the bottom button, they have just one for library. When you go to this, then it goes to this site that appears to be its own site, but it has the same style and appearance, and then it would have its own set of buttons on the bottom. And then a bunch of other features just to make like, some of the things we were talking about earlier, like with Facebook or with the newspaper, instead of having to do a commissioner's corner all the time, we could have news highlighted on the front. This can interface with Facebook, and we can also do newsletters. So just have a sign up and just another way to interface with the public. So this would be with all of the features that I've described. We would pay $18,735 for the initial design, and then $13,140 would be our ongoing host. And that is $1,000 less than what we were currently paying Civic Plus. So once we are beyond the cost of the development of the site, it will be a savings. The way Vicki had this lined out, we would pay 2/3 in December, reflected in 2025 funds, and then the final third upon completion, ideally by June. So that we could not have to renew our services with Civic Plus. If we did run into a crunch on that, they will let us extend quarterly, so we could just go for a few more months if it comes to that. Ideally, our site is not so complicated and we'll be there. Don, what do you think our prospects for finishing?
Was that for me?
Yeah.
I know there's another Sean. So, prospects for finishing within the time frame.
Yeah, for finishing by June or July, we should be pretty close, should we not?
Yes. So yeah, the time frame and actually what's put into the proposal that I would send over. So if everybody here hasn't seen that, so normally on average, the creation of a custom website like what we'd be looking for you guys would be about 6 months. So yeah, if we're starting right now, that should be just fine.
Sean, this is Vicki Edwards, the county administrator.
Sure.
Right there. Just wanted to make sure you received the addendum to the agreement and you were okay with that.
Yes, I think that I saw any of the additional aspects, and there wouldn't be anything on there that would change the terms for us in any unforeseen way. So that's totally fine if we can just add that on to the end of the agreement for you.
Perfect, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions for me or the process or any of the applications?
I don't have any.
I had one initially, but it got away, so my apologies. Yeah, I'm excited that we get moving forward. And so with all of the ADA compliance stuff, because that was what started all this, you guys help us make sure that we're in compliance. And then that's where 4 times a year, they'll do the review and make sure, and you keep up with all of the laws as they change them, to be sure we stay in compliance, and you would help Lynn with all that?
Yes, yeah. And as far as when you're talking about like the website itself and how we design and develop that would be something that we would maintain on our end. But there's also aspects as far as like content management portion. So like say you're changing pictures on the site, or if you're uploading documents or whatnot, that there are certain things that require ADA compliance with those, like alt tagging and whatnot. And it includes that type of scanning. So we'd go through and make sure that the pictures have the correct alt tagging and all of that stuff as part of that comprehensive scan. So yes, that's what that includes.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
Is that any other questions for Sean?
Not for Sean. I do have a question for Trevor. Where are you at with this website?
I reviewed the proposal and the security and all that kind of stuff. The system is sufficient for what we need. It meets our standard.
Just want to make sure you are on board.
Yeah, I've already looked it over.
Okay. I don't have any other questions if you don't.
So thanks for joining us, Sean. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, sure, no problem. And if there's any questions that come up afterward, just let me know.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Any other
Alrighty.
discussion?
Nope.
Sean, please call the roll.
Richfield,
I,
O'Hairn.
And you need to make sure that the addendum gets attached. when you send it out to me.
yes, because I did know it's where any kind of court stuff would be.
Right.
It's different than theirs, so it,
It has the appropriation clause, the
Yeah.
non-appropriation clause, the venue where
Yeah.
we always want our venue here.
yes, the venue, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it was always, was,
Choice of law, Colorado, just the county stuff, the stuff that we want.
Yeah.
We'll check
Okay, make sure.
in there.
Yeah, because it's not attached to the one in the, okay.
Saw it yesterday afternoon, I saw it pop up and I forgot. Okay. Crazy, so I will get that added to there, so that it's in the packet. For the
And I'm presuming that your approval was that.
yes. That, yeah, so let's see, do I need to,
Do a
I think
friendly-
As long as you verify that.
let's say,
I would do a
friendly
friendly
motion or
Yeah, amendment.
friendly amendment?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sean, I want to do a friendly amendment to that, motion. And it is word and contract price with the addendum that was supplied to them
And the-
by our attorney or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think when we do a friendly amendment, does she have to
Accept.
note that as a friendly amendment?
Well, you note it as amendment, yeah, you just
Yeah.
amendment, and then it is also it needs to be.
The second has to
Second.
agree.
And then we will vote.
Friendly amendment, it's not really a term of art, it just means that you don't anticipate. You're the original person that brought the motion, you don't anticipate any contest of the amendment.
I contest it.
Probably, just for Lynn's sake.
Make her a little nervous. Sean, will you please call the roll?
O'Hairn,
Aye.
Aye.
All righty. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, thank you. Now we know where we will find you. At your little computer.
Do we have the next one on yet, Chrissy?
He was on early. Oh, there's
There
Cynthia.
she is.
Yes, Cynthia's on.
All right, our next one is a presentation by Cynthia Crow from the Small Business Association regarding the EIDL SBA low interest loans for businesses. And, sorry, I've got makeup in my contacts, so I can't see, impacted by the Elk Lee fires. It looks like we also have Charles Knight.
And you're both still muted.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Cowell. I am a public information officer with the U.S. Small Business Administration Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. And my associate Charles Kite is here. We're both in Colorado for this declaration. I'm going to allow Charles to tell you about what we have available for businesses in Rio Blanco and the surrounding counties. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, as Cynthia stated, my name's Charles Kite. I'm with the SBA, and we are here on behalf of the governor for the Leak and Elk fires that occurred August 2nd through the 29th of 2025. It covers Rio Blanco County and the contiguous counties of Garfield, Moffett, and Route, and also one county in Utah. The reason we're here is to give a lifeline to the small businesses in the form of low interest government loans. The current interest rate is 4% for businesses and 3.625% for nonprofits. The maximum loan amount is $2 million, substantiated by your losses. The loans are based on your credit history and repayment capabilities. If you had a previous SBA loan and you were not compliant, then you wouldn't be eligible for this program. The loans are designed to give you operating capital until business returns to normal. So if your revenue drops or if your business expenses rise due to a declared disaster, then we can come in as a lifeline and give you operating capital until things return back to normal. We do have refinancing available, and there is insurance requirements for all approved loans. We currently have a center open in Meeker, Colorado, at the City Hall, the top floor of the City Hall. They're open from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. However, let me remind you that their last day will be December 12th. So you want to get in there as quickly as possible. But you can also fill the loans out, the applications out on the web, which is lending at sba.gov. You can create a my SBA portal account, and that will allow you to complete the application, or you can call the customer service center at 1-800-659-2955. If you have any questions, me and Cynthia will be available to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Charles. I might add that the maximum loan that we can give to a business is up to $2 million. And that is just to help with your routine capital expenses, such as your rent or mortgage, your payroll, your standard operating costs that you would usually be able to meet. You cannot use these loans to pay off or pay down existing debt. So we encourage everyone to go ahead and apply. We have a business recovery center set up upstairs at the City Hall, the Meeker City Hall or Town Hall. And we're there from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. This Friday is our last day. We will be closing at 5 on Friday, but you can still apply online. You can find more information or make an application at www.sba.gov, and we'll work with you. If you have any documents you need to send into your application, you can upload it at that website. Thank you.
And just one other little tidbit, those interest rates are fixed at 4%. And 3.625% for nonprofits. And there's a 12-month deferment on the interest as well as the payments, and the interest does not start to accrue until you take your first disbursement. Any questions?
So quick question. Yes, I do have a couple. So by when, because you guys are here through the end of this week, but what's the deadline? What's the last time frame that someone can apply online?
You can apply online until August 18th of 2026. We give you a 9 months to apply, because when it comes to economic injury, sometimes you don't know right away how vastly you've been impacted.
Okay. So the second question I've got, I think I heard conflicting information in regards to refinancing. So you can or cannot refinance current loans that may have a higher interest rate.
You cannot use economic injury funds to refinance your existing mortgage. Our goal is to put you in the same position you were the day before the fire started. And making a lower interest rate for you wouldn't fall into those guidelines. Sometimes with physical loans you can, but this is not a physical loan disaster declaration, so we can't do that. Unfortunately, I wish we could.
Okay. So if someone was in a situation that they're, of course, your operating or your operation is challenging enough and they're struggling to make those loan payments, can they use this to help make those payments on your mortgage?
Yes, you can use these loans to make your routine payments. So if you had a mortgage prior to the disaster, you can use these funds to pay the mortgage continuing. But not, you can't pay off your loan.
Okay. And I'm sure you said it, but what's the length of the loans? I missed.
Up to 30 years. Just
30.
depends on your repayment capability. If you have a great cash flow, then you'll probably get a lesser term. If your cash flow is kind of strapped, then you'll most likely get the 30-year term.
Okay.
And if you have any if you have any questions, please feel free to contact our Business Recovery Center upstairs at the Meeker Town Hall, or you can call our customer service line at 800-659-2955. You can email us at disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. Thank you.
Do you have a feel for the number of people that are coming through are you guys in contact with them here in Meeker to know what kind of numbers are coming through and looking at these possibilities?
Well, it hasn't been as high as we would like. We've only had a couple of applicants come in. Like we said, you can apply online if you need to, but so far we haven't received a lot of walk-in clients. But this is partially because people are still not sure what they want to do, and for this reason, we extend the invitation to apply now. If you don't need the money, you don't need to use it. If you don't use it, then you don't pay it back. However, if you need it and you don't have access to it, that could be very difficult for your business. We have offered the 9-month, as we usually do, 9-month application period, because you may have businesses that are busy in the spring and no other time of the year, and you may have people that are only operating in the fall. So it's important that if you anticipate that you might need the money, go ahead and apply. Even if you don't know that you'll need the money, go ahead and apply. The worst that can happen is if we can approve you, but it's been too late. You've waited too long. So go ahead and come on in and apply for a disaster loan. These loans actually come directly from the federal government, and you do not need to go through a bank. I know some people have the impression that you should go through a bank. Well, these are not through banks. They come directly from the Treasury.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your listening to us. If you have anybody that needs our help, please give them our information and we'll be sure to help them as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Lynn, I'm assuming, I know we've put it out here. Do you know about the surrounding counties? Did Sarah say they've contacted the surrounding counties and chambers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Moving on to line item C, do we have I don't see Megan or Carrie here or online, so we probably should I don't see them.
Early.
Huh?
It's a little early.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it says
Oh.
45 here and it's only.
So we could just then,
I think you said that.
They are not online.
Oh,
yet.
not. Okay.
are they getting online?
I thought they were going to be joining in person. I was
Oh,
told
okay.
that if one was, then the other one would.
Okay.
And I didn't hear anything unless it got buried in my email. They weren't.
Okay, so we could probably just move on to the next agenda item and then come back to that one when they are ready. So let's make sure we have. Because we don't have all of them.
No, so we're just doing Carmen and
Herman
Natalie?
and
Natalie.
Get signatures. Oh, somebody just.
Here comes Carmen. Do you want me to? Let's see, because Chrissy can do that from in there. So yeah, Carmen's on.
oh yes, Natalie and Ken.
Okay.
What can I do?
Nothing,
Okay.
sorry.
You're good. Can I do them both in one motion?
Yeah.
Okay. So Madam Chair, I would move the approval of the HR education and training contracts for Carmen McKay and Natalie Harvey, based on our conversations this morning and getting our policy set.
And I will second that. We're gonna need another, because we didn't say with any change, we didn't do any changes on those two. Sorry, I'm talking it through.
Okay.
So
yes.
what we'll need to do is so I seconded it for Carmen and Natalie, but then we're gonna need to do another motion to table Michaela and Karen to hopefully the 19th. You think
Yep.
you'll have them on the 19th, so we'll
Perfect.
table. So does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, I just needed to talk that through. So just so that everybody knows that we updated our HR education and training contracts. And we had a discussion and work session with Laura this morning to get those updated. And so the two that were able to get their paperwork to Laura so that they could get reimbursed are the two that we're approving. The two that we're going to table, Laura's going to get those before the 19th for us, and then we'll approve those. And those are in the 2025 budget, right? Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
John, will you please call the roll?
Scritchfield.
Aye.
Heron.
Aye. Motion passes. And then I'll entertain a motion.
So Madam Chair, I would move to table the HR education and training contracts for Michaela Sheridan Smith and Karen Dinwiddie until the 19th of December.
And I will second that. Sean, will you please call the roll?
Heron.
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Motion passes. You're almost done, Laura. Almost across the finish line. Moving on to line item E.
Let's see. Alrighty, so. Oh, of the fairgrounds. I was looking for a dollar figure. All right. Madam Chair, I would move to approve the Meeker Veterans Community Center's request of the donation of the fairgrounds and 4-H building rental for the May 24th, 2026 Memorial Weekend event.
And I will second it. So we had the Makers Veterans Community Center members come and present to us last month about this event that they are wanting to put together over Memorial Day weekend in honor of the veterans. And I think they even, if I remember correctly, included even like surrounding areas that they're wanting to just do this overall event for everybody pretty much, or anybody that's a veteran. I guess where I'm at, I know this is a kickoff for them. And so they're limited in funds and it being a kickoff event. And I would like to see it not, because they talked about expanding it, have concerts and just really make it this robust event. I would be good with doing the donation just because it's kickoff and they don't have much money. It may not be the same next year for me, but at this point, I know that they're limited with funds. So I know that I am good with it. I don't know where you're at with it.
Yep.
Okay. Good. John, will you please call the roll?
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to line item F.
I'll move to approve the annual liquor license renewal for Elk Creek Ranch Restaurants LLC.
And I will second it. I guess the only question is, so the state has already approved their portion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, we always get the state first and then they have already paid their $100 to the county. So they're current and got everything that they needed to.
So anybody that is serving alcohol has to do that on an annual basis, all the restaurants and everything.
You know, obviously it's just for the county part, but
Right. Okay. Good to know.
Any other questions? Will you please call the roll?
O'Hare.
Aye.
Litchfield.
Motion passes. Moving on to line item G.
Madam Chair, I would move amending the current agreement with Cross Connect Engineering, extending the monthly hours, which provide additional support time for the broadband department in coordination with the existing support time for the IT department.
And I will second. I'm gonna remind me. I know we had this conversation. I just need a reminder. You guys have a lot going on.
Yes, they do. I hassled them over email.
So, in a prior RFP, the county IT division selected Cross Connect to provide network engineering and support during switch up for internally county network. That was last year that they did that. It's been a couple of years now. A couple of years. And so when they completed that switch migration, the second part of that, of course, is an allotted amount of service time for network engineering to help troubleshoot, upgrade, fix, patch, do as needed, to help keep the internal IT network running for the county. This year, we were approved to do a switch migration upgrade for the broadband side. We issued that RFP out. It was a competitive process and selected Cross Connect for that services. They came in and completed the switch migration upgrade project. They completed that I think like 3 weeks ago. And then with discussions between Trevor and myself and then the engineers at Cross Connect, it was cleaner and easier if we were to just expand on our current service agreement that the IT department already had, and then use those expanded hours split between broadband network and the IT.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Will you please call the roll?
Litchfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Motion passes. We are going to go back to line item C. And I know I'm going to mess up this name. Presentation by Meeker Skijor. Carrie's here with us. And a consideration for the request to waive the fees for the Meeker Fairgrounds for the 2025 Ski Jor event.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you guys giving us a moment in your agenda to visit with you. Maker Ski Jor is a nonprofit 501c3 group organization, and we've been going on, well, should be like 6 years now, but we didn't have it last year, lack of snow, which isn't looking so good for this year either. We do have backup plans to, potentially move dates because of not only lack of snow, but also the equine virus that's going around as well. So that's actually a question I have for you guys. And we'll get to that in a minute, but I just wanted to come and, ask if, because of our nonprofit status and in hopes that we could utilize the sponsorship money that we have and that we gather, to, pay for our event and not end up having some of those extra expenses. It's really helped in the past when we haven't had to pay for the facilities. And so that just lets us bring in more for the event and entice competitors to come and use our hotels and restaurants and those kinds of things. So we're, it's something in the winter when things are a little bit low key, it can really boost up the economy for us here locally. So if it's, a way that we can keep going and not have those extra expenses in order for us to keep this event sustainable and growing, we would really appreciate your consideration to waive the fee for the fairgrounds. I don't know, do you guys have any questions for me?
So what is the current planned date?
Right now, we are planning our dates are set for January, I think it's 4th, 5th, and 6th, it's that first weekend of January. Let me double check the calendar. Second, so we'll check competitors in on the 2nd and the events the 3rd and the 4th of January.
I'm worried for you, girl.
I know.
Yes, it's not looking good.
I know what. We've always had a backup date of mid-February, but that's why we moved to this date because February was an issue for a long time.
Yeah.
So after today's meeting with you guys, we were going to get together and kind of revisit, what things are looking like, and we may have to postpone. And also that's where I had the question with the county of if an update on even the EHV thing, because if the facilities are still closed due to that, we may not be able to get a host it anywhere, regardless. Because I know a lot of local competitors are out in Vegas right now, competing with the different ropings or barrel races and things like that. And there's been cases that have shown symptoms as much as 15 days after exposure. So if somebody were to get exposed during this time, that's pushing on the end of the year, first of the year.
So, Vicki, remind me when are we opening the fairgrounds? Was it this week?
On the 6th.
On the 6th.
We had no other
January.
confirmed cases other December 6th.
Oh, December. That's
December
right.
6th.
Okay.
So we had the one case down
On the western slope,
on the
eastern
western
slope,
slope.
eastern.
Right. And then no other confirmed cases. So our recovery manager was gracious enough, he's a former veterinarian, was gracious enough to take up that and contact the state veterinarian. And they said, right now there's very little risk because we only have the one case. So everybody, I think, has opened on the 6th using some basic cautions of spraying some things down.
But Carrie brings up a really good point because there are people traveling out of state right now, and I haven't heard what's going on in other states, but it must not be too serious or they would do something with finals.
Yeah, which they have made a bunch of accommodations to change things, like, the big grand entry that they usually do and everybody's all together with their horses. They didn't do that this year.
Oh,
People
wow.
are coming out in person, but they're not coming with
Oh,
their
in
animal.
person. Okay.
So they've definitely made
So they
a
are
lot of
concerned, yeah.
precautionary changes. Yeah.
So, so I'm guessing your guess is as good as our guess.
Right, agree. Yeah.
On that. And so I guess my other question, kind of back to the concept of the donating, what parts of the fairgrounds do you guys use?
So this year we would be using the track, and a lot of times we end up, shuttling either through the outdoor arena or around it. So kind of all that outdoor, and then of course the grandstands. And then I think we're doing all of our registration and Calcutta and all of that here at the Maker Hotel. So we actually won't need any of the indoor rooms. It's essentially just the outdoor facilities. And we will have some stall use. Excuse me, we usually have some competitors that use that, but we have a sponsor that was going to take care of that. So it was just the cost of the facilities, which I understand we got a quote from Nick of $760 to cover
For the 2 days?
For the
Is
2
that what it
days.
was? Because we are yet to approve today, but we're talking about those fees and so forth. So,
well, and we end up, spending each year we've spent give or take $20,000 to put on the event. And that's with paying competitors, there's a pot of money that they can win. And so, but also we're paying for insurance, advertising, you know, a lot of other costs. I meant to bring that sheet with me to break it down a little bit more for you, and I can sure get that if you guys are interested, but it's just, we try to, whatever sponsorship money or whatever we get income wise, we try and turn around and put that right back in the event itself. And again, with it being nonprofit, we kind of just roll with that as much as we can and rely on sponsorships to really keep us afloat. And the bigger we can make our pot for the competitors, entices, you know, bigger names and more entries to come, and that's not much more people in. Ski Tour's really grown, and there's a lot of events, not just all over our state, but all over the country, really. And so it's getting to be quite a big deal and a big competition. So if we can stay within that realm, you know, kind of keep, again, brings back some economy boost for us. So I think it's worth considering for that. And I think too, if you guys are interested, if you do end up kind of waiving this fee or sort of a sponsorship for this, we can definitely add you in the advertising and, you know, support, you know, showing your support to the organization and be in our sponsorship levels as well. So that's, we don't have to, but that is something we've always added the county on our sponsorship levels as it is, just because of the use of facilities we've considered as a like sponsorship level anyway, because we get a lot of in-kind donations too. In-kind trade type stuff.
I was just looking at kind of what our policy is here. Just a second, sorry.
Good.
Just on the EHV, the most recent update that I have is still Colorado only with one, and which was associated with the Waco event. There's a new event in Pennsylvania that started on November 27th that is not associated with the Waco event. So
Nothing real new.
nothing real new and nothing close. So New Mexico did have 3. There's nothing showing in Utah, Wyoming, Colorado had the 1, and let's see, New Mexico had 3. And those were all tied to the Waco event.
Mhm, gotcha. Okay. Well, that's probably good. This much time away from that there has been a whole other blow up.
Yeah.
So Carrie, and I'm gonna look to Doug here in a second. So one of the things that we're struggling with on the fairgrounds and other things is we have our fees set and then so many waivers requested, and we're kind of gonna try to put together a policy of what that will look like. We don't know what that is just yet.
Sure.
And so if it happens to be the first week of January, you need to know before then what we're doing. So any thoughts, Doug?
How long is it gonna take us to get a policy together?
Well, can we do it by our next meeting?
If
How are you
I
feeling?
make a suggestion?
Yes,
What we've done in the past for events is that, especially this happened when we started to implement those fees. We said, okay, this is your last time that it's free. And so you're such a close time period that maybe you said that and say, but no, going forward, that you're going to incur that cost going forward. Just because it is such a short time turnaround for them to be able to raise additional funds, if that's the case. We've not had that conversation with them. We've had it with some of the other people. So I just think, to be fair, that might benefit them.
Yeah.
And then as your policy gets formalized, then you have something formal
To work
to
with.
talk with. And that would be the same, about getting events off the ground and things like that. Maybe it is something that the policy says they get
First
one
time or
the first time,
X
and
number of
then
times.
after that, it's,
Okay.
just a suggestion.
And you're right.
I like
Now
it.
that I'm remembering that, we've done that with 2 entities that I can think of off the top of our head, that especially the non-for-profits we've done that with, and just give them the heads up the next year so
I'm good with that. So, Madam Chair, I would move that we waive the fee for the Meeker Fairgrounds use of the outdoor arena and, track for the 2025 ski tour event. And then just notice in future, it may not be that.
And then will that, if we do have to postpone, will that?
Yeah, 2025 ski tour. Yeah, we'll just leave it at the 2025 ski tour. Yeah, depending on whether it's, now you can't do it December 31st of. Right.
I'm gonna second that for the sake of our discussion. Okay. How much money are we talking?
Right, $600.
Yeah, 700 around.
760 is what we voted.
Yeah, I think based on our changes that we think we'll do today, it'll be about 600.
You
Roughly.
said you're doing $20,000.
I think so. If I looked at some of our stuff right, and that's with, payouts and, insurance and some of the other things that.
I agree. Next year you need to figure out paying something.
Okay.
Yep. And we'll have our policy set by then, more or less, but,
And the
it's
reason
just a challenge. Yeah, go
the
ahead.
reason we're doing that is we wanna do some improvements and keep the place out. But we can't do it if we
For sure.
keep giving everybody.
Will you please call the roll, Sean?
Richfield.
Aye.
O'Hairn.
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
No, snow.
Yeah, no, for snow.
Not right now, though. Let me get home first.
Oh, come on, you'll be saying that tomorrow and the next day and. the
I
next
know.
day. So, yeah. And Carrie, so sometime I would like right after the first of the year, maybe for you to come and do an update to the board on the regional partnership initiative,
Yeah.
too, if you will,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, that actually.
Probably February, just
Okay.
because, well, or late the second January meeting or something.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we could put me on the agenda. For,
Yeah.
Take that spot.
Yeah, I would like to know how the Rangeley, sorry, I missed it. I had to be out of town emergency, but I planned on being there and I did try to round up people to be there. So I hope they showed up for me.
Yeah, no, we had a pretty good turnout. So
Yeah, I think it's been good.
meetings, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and we're hoping to get another round of public meetings right after the first of the year. So we're gonna get here soon a schedule put together for that and hopefully get going with that.
Good.
Some more. So yeah, and that'll actually hopefully too, I mean, there's potential for this organization to maybe help with the fairgrounds issues, you know, and upgrades and stuff. That's actually something that's on my radar. It came to mind, you know, when this first came about, I was like, everybody's recreation looks a little different. And in my world, recreation could be horse stuff, fairgrounds. And I think that for both Meeker and Rangeley.
Mhm.
So where there's this kind of money out there, you know, and this fairgrounds thing is such an issue and there's need for upgrade and need for change. So I think, you know, that before you mentioned that, I was actually going to see if there was a time to come in and maybe bring that up to you guys' attention and we can consider that at the table as well.
So it's you and I touch base then next week if we can
That's
and get,
then you're-
get my brain back around it.
January, early January, like which one, or January?
Let's do the second one because the first one we know will be,
It's getting
Crammed.
filled up.
yeah, so I'm thinking the second one.
In range to be virtual.
Yeah, no worries.
And then how long do you think we're gonna need on that? Maybe an hour,
No,
half hour?
30.
30 minutes. maybe.
That way she has a way to.
Yeah,
She's not too windy.
that's right.
Okay.
I'll leave some room for questions, so I'll make it short. and sweet.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate
Have a
your
good day.
time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on that.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to line item H.
So, Madam Chair, I would move the 2025 EEO Meeker Airport GA ramp replacement project, Elevated Excavating Inc. Pay estimates of 1 to 3.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. And we have Eric here.
Yeah, so we've already approved the pay applications per our procurement policy that is standard on approving the agreement with Elevated Excavating. just, with using the contract format and the pay application format that is required with FAA appliances, it's required that the board place signature on those pay applications so we can send those back to Barbara for documentation. So we've already approved them. We've already cut the checks. We just need to affix the board's signature to them so that we can those pay applications so that Wade can then submit it for our request for reimbursement.
Thank you. Sean, will you please call the roll?
Overton,
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Aye. Motion
Where are you
passes.
going, Eric?
I'll be back.
Okay.
You're gonna want to should die.
I think
I'm
you're,
not getting much work today.
I think you're next though, aren't you? Oh, no. I guess-
No,
No.
we've got a bunch of letters in here.
It's Reese.
Oh, there you go. You're good.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to I.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to ratify a letter of support for the town of Rangeley's Restore Grant proposal.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So Rangeley was doing, maybe I'm confused. This is the one that was for the kiosk, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They applied for that.
That. Thought we did this last meeting. No, we didn't. That's right. We weren't sure yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody had a question on it.
Yes. Oh, that was right. It was me. That was.
I think it was a legit question, especially after the events that unfolded following. So we're
Yes.
good.
Okay, so you guys are good with it.
Yes.
Perfect. Sean, will you please call the roll?
Overton,
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to line item J.
Madam Chair, I would move ratification of the letter to the Washington Fish and Wildlife Commission requesting they consider not providing wolves to Colorado for reintroduction.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Do we want Reese to speak on this briefly?
Yeah, I can be very brief. You may have seen this was successful, so we signed on to this letter with the Wolf Coalition. Many other organizations and counties also signed on. And the Washington wildlife regulators ultimately chose at this point not to provide wolves to Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you, Reese.
So, yesterday on the wolf call, there was a mention yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday, that maybe we should do the same thing for Oregon, but it kind of died on the vine. Did you hear? Jenny brought it up. And so is she the one that initiated the first one?
Yeah, there was a reason that it died. I don't think that they were gonna do it or something. I can't remember.
It just went away. There was no conversation about it, but my guess is Jenny will pursue that.
Oh, it's working.
That's what I was gonna say. So I hope that we do, and if she'll pursue it, I would certainly support doing exactly the same thing. And I think that's what will happen is the letter will be just change the name on it.
So if the coalition does that, then we will come back and
Ratify a letter again. But yeah,
Okay,
so just Reese, if you see or hear of that, let's go ahead and pursue that, and you could pull a letter together for us again if you would. I
You
guess
bet.
we don't have to, they do it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Reese. Will you please call the roll?
Scritchfield.
Aye.
Overton,
aye.
O'Hare.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to K.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve a letter of support to the BLM regarding Colorado's March 2026 competitive oil and gas lease sale. BOI BLM CO 000-2025-0007-EA.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this one?
We just like them
Drill, baby,
Leases.
drill.
Yep. Gotta sell the leases to drill, so we.
Get it going. Yep. We just need to get rid of that MOU. Yes.
I was just curious if Reese, what will that PUC ruling about natural gas do to this type of thing?
I'm not so sure I'm following. Maybe could you
Was it
throw,
on, I think, a little more of a bump? I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday of last week, the Public Utilities Commission,
Colorado.
Colorado Public Utilities
Oh.
Commission, is to throttle down or do away with natural gas.
Totally do away with
Totally
it
do away
by
with it. So
2030.
30 or 35.
2030, and I'm just curious what kind of impact that could have on this, or if there is a correlation.
On BLM ground, and the only way that I think there again, back to that MOU with the state, how they can keep slowing things down, but we just got to work on that MOU or other methods.
That's true. And all of the gas that they're drilling for and producing here doesn't stay in Colorado. So I would think there's still a market for it. So it may impact it some, but I think that if the gas is here and they can sell it in the United States,
Yep.
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
We just have to. And
And we'll
hopefully,
have a different governor by then, so
hopefully we can change governors and reverse some of this.
And get better rather than further?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
good question, Vicki.
Mhm. John, will you please call the roll?
O'Hairn,
Aye.
Overton, Scritchfield.
Motion passes. Moving on to letter L.
Madam Chair, I would move to approve public comment letter to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Department Natural Resources regarding CPW's beaver conservation and management strategy.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Do you want to give us a briefing on this, Reese, please?
yes, so CPW did some scoping towards the end of the summer on this. They did, I must say, do a good job of engaging all stakeholders, including landowners and producers, to develop this draft plan during scoping. We did not submit comments during the scoping period. I bet you could guess why, the Lee and Elk Fire. But here's an opportunity now that a draft plan has been produced, read through that plan, highlighted some areas where we have policy from the LNRP that is relevant, but then added those very specific bullet points to provide adaptive management and flexibility for landowners. As the plan's written, it's all voluntary at this point. I think these comments just align with the LNRP to protect private property rights and give our landowners the necessary tools to handle any damage to private property or issues regarding water infrastructure or water rights when it comes to the expansion or presence of beaver. Happy to answer any questions. I know there's a lot in that letter.
There is a lot, but I'm just thinking out loud. If we're wanting to support CPW, is this letter enough to tell them that they did a good job and we support them? Or should we do more on this subject?
I think that's a good question. I think if you as a board were willing to add some language in here that highlighted the quality of work that was done throughout scoping and engaging all stakeholders, I'd be happy to add that language to the narrative. Because I do think they did this right. I think you would all agree that we'd like to see more management plans and decisions following this format, right? Versus the legislative route. Like
yeah,
you
and I think that we need to support CPW more publicly because of the criticism that they're getting, and they do some things right and good, and we need to recognize them for that so that we can keep them in the position or the way that they're operating now. Because there is a current out there trying to get rid of them and we need to support them. And I think we should add stuff to that just for that reason.
And I would agree. And I think probably where I'd do it, just off the top of my head, Reese, you can look at it and see, but I think I'd just start off your letter with that piece.
Yep.
Just thank you for spending the time and the energy. And let me just ask you this. So based on that scoping, do you feel like the document has heard them? Is it not just that they went and did it, but they are listening to them?
Yeah, I think the draft plan is pretty broad. I think the biggest thing they don't address is, the plan, they're going to look into expanding beaver populations on public and private land, of course, voluntarily on private. I think one thing they don't address, and I don't think they're addressing it with anything, is just that limitation with staff. Biggest concern is if they're going to expand beaver habitat and beaver populations, they need to have staff available if they're not going to allow landowners to take care of any conflicts themselves. But other than that, yes, the plan is very flexible. They really focus on adaptive management. Knowing that this is going to be a challenge and there's going to be nuances moving forward, with conflicts on public and private land, they really honed in on that adaptive management piece, which I appreciate, versus outlining any absolutes.
Yeah, I think so. I would go ahead and mention that in there, and then we go ahead and address the other piece of it there. And beaver are not protected, right? So, or are they?
No.
In any way?
You can't trap them unless you have it.
Oh, it's because of trapping.
Yes.
The state's trapping deal. You could shoot one, but you can't trap him.
He has to be doing damage and you have to you can get a permit to do certain kinds of trapping, but they're hard to get.
Yeah, because I was trying to think, we had Justin come up and trap some at the house. So how come I was thinking, how come we didn't have Justin do that? But that's why the trapping issue. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I would. So let's see. Since I made that motion, I would do a friendly amendment to include acknowledging the good work that CPW did on their scoping for this in this process. So amending that letter to include that.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second with the amendment. So we'll need to still vote on the first one.
As a friendly one. We didn't do that earlier, but okay.
Yeah, we did vote twice on the last one. So let's vote on the amendment first, and then we'll vote on the original motion. Does that make sense, Sean? Okay. Sean, will you please?
O'Haron?
Aye.
Overton?
Aye.
Richfield?
Aye.
Motion passes, and then we will do the original motion.
That'll be Overton?
Aye.
Richfield?
Aye.
O'Haron?
Thank you.
Okay, no longer am I doing a friendly one then if it doesn't make it any different. No more friendly amendments.
All right, moving on to line item M.
Madam Chairman, I will make a motion to approve 4 letters of support to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Department of the Interior regarding Endangered Species Act regulation changes.
I have a motion. Oh, no, I don't have a second yet.
Oh, second. You have a motion.
So I have a motion and a second. Do you want to just give us a brief on this one, Reese?
Yes, I can definitely do that. So the reason there are 4 different letters is the Federal Register is accepting separate letters, but essentially it's similar to our public lands rule rescission that you all supported. Basically in the Trump administration, they are reverting back to the prior Trump administration status quo from changes that were made during the Biden administration. All of the agricultural groups are supporting these changes with the Endangered Species Acts. I would state specifically with 50 CFR Part 424, basically the Trump administration is bringing back in that you should consider and recognize different economic impacts, how certain species listing and critical habitat designations could impact the economy, local economy, broader economy, so on and so forth. And that is, we have really strong policy in the LNRP that supports a lot of these changes, which is why you can see them referenced in these draft letters. The second one, which would be 50 CFR Part 402, this basically just states that agencies need to strictly adhere to the Endangered Species Act as it's written. You might remember a recent Supreme Court ruling, the Chevron deference, which basically states that, legal interpretation is up to the courts, not to agency employees. So this rule change would reaffirm that the Endangered Species Act needs to be followed as it's written and not to be expanded past that based on agency personnel's interpretations. The third one, 50 CFR Part 17, Section 4D. This rule change, give me just a second here, I'm reading my notes. This one's a little tricky because basically it removes the blanket rule and requires species-specific determinations on threatened species. We do have language in our LNRP that seems like it might contradict this a little bit, but the more reading I did, they were actually quite in line. Give me just a moment as I sift through these tabs I have pulled up to get the right letter in front of me. Sorry about that. It was loading. I did not have it pulled up for some reason. Okay, bigger talking point. Thank you for giving me a moment to pull this from my notes. This rule change, in my interpretation and other readings, and related to our policy in the LNRP, it's pretty clear that this reaffirms multiple use, which is pretty clear in our local and county policy. So I just wanted to find that key moment that key point before I moved on to the next one. So thanks for your patience. And then finally, the last letter, Section 4B, subsection 2. This really plainly reprioritizes economic impacts as well. They also mentioned national security, but that designating critical habitat and exclusions on critical habitat should consider economic impacts or how the economics are weighed into some of this decision making, which again, in the Land and Natural Resource Plan is pretty clear that we support considering that. Any questions?
Nope. I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Yes, happy to.
Please call the roll.
Overton,
Aye.
O'Hare,
Aye.
Richfield.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to line item N.
All right. Madam Chair, I would move ratification of a letter of support to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife off-highway vehicle. OHV Trail Program Grant Team for the Forest Service's 2027 Flat Tops Good Management OHV Trail Crew Grant application.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. You guys
wrote
want
that one?
Huh?
Who wrote that one?
Reese.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Do we need, no, okay.
The only reason because basically that is the only way that right now, Forest Service is gonna have any trail crews is through this grant.
Yeah, and this is, they do this every year, so it's just something that we help them with every year.
But it's even more critical.
And this is for, 2027, because they're already funded for this year, 26.
So, Sean, will you please call the roll? I've got three different things going on in my brain right now.
I saw it that time. Usually I don't see that.
Timberton,
Aye.
Litchfield,
I,
O'Hare.
So, so my three different things was Eric, you can go back because we're going to convene as social services.
Okay.
So we'll be a little bit.
All right.
You were number one when I saw you walk in. Number two is Carmen has a meeting, a pretty important one at 3:00. So, I would like to move her up and do her right now, her Board of Social Services, to give you guys a quick update. It won't be very long because she, like I said, she's got her own meeting to get to, on the matter that we will be discussing. So are you guys okay with moving her up right now?
Yep.
Okay, so I hope she's still on. Uh-oh, I lost her.
Do you want me to text her? Or are you gonna text her?
She's texting me back right now. We had her. Now we've lost her. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue on, and once she gets on, then we'll have her jump on and we'll do Board of Social Services. So we'll go on to line item O.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve amendment number 2 for CDPHE contract number 2023-0046 for public health.
second.
So I have a motion and a second. The only thing on this one, and I already text Michaela because I knew she wasn't going to be here today, is so this is our core contract and it's a 3-year contract. So it started in 2023. It still has Beth as the contact. So I just asked Michaela to make sure that she gets that fixed for next year. I mean, we can sign it because they're still getting in contact with us and they're still sending us the contracts. So I just asked Michaela to make sure she gets that changed next year and have the correct contact. So that was Beth was the grant person at that time. So that's why. So other than that, I'm good with it. Sean, will you please call the roll?
O'Hare.
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Litchfield.
I,
Motion passes. So now we will recess as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the
Skip it here.
Board of Social Services.
You want me to text?
Carmen,
Hello, can you hear me okay?
we can.
Okay, cool. So, there's a lot, but nothing to report, right now. It's kind of a mess in my world, DHS world. As far as eligibility goes, the state is doing a lot of different things and it's, if I was to start talking about it now, it would be mass confusion, to be honest with you. So I plan on giving you a better report, hopefully, in January, if not, later this month, if possible. Is this the last one for this month because of the holiday?
Yes.
well, the
Okay.
19th.
Well, we have one on
Okay.
the 19th, but you're still not going to have
No,
information.
no, I won't. So, yeah, so hopefully in January, I can kind of clear up some confusion that you guys probably have heard like bits and pieces of things. And I can't report a lot on that right now because there's a lot of unanswered questions and then not a lot of detail. So if it has anything, if you have questions or you just, want to ask anything related to Medicaid, food assistance, CCAP, TANF, I can't answer those right now. Just because I don't have a lot of answers either yet. As far as child welfare world, we're doing pretty good. I don't have a case count or anything for you right now. But Kelsey's doing an amazing job with her and Adriana. We do have Zoe as our PRN if we do need her. And Mika and Natalie are doing fantastic, as well as Leanne.
Do you want to just tell them briefly why, explain to them about this committee that you're on and these meetings that you are having with the state and so just so that everybody knows, DHS is wanting to restructure our eligibility and really make it regional. And we've not done the regional thing. So they're pushing it on the directors in a very short period of time. They want a decision made by December 24th. And we just found out about it last week. And so we have, maybe that Friday before. So, it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I received a call from CCI and she received a call. So we since then have been scrambling to try to figure out this redistricting because the state is not providing information. So a committee was created that Carmen was picked to be on. They only chose how many directors are on that? 5?
Yeah, correct. There's only 5 of us.
So 5, and they took one from each region. Go ahead.
Correct. Yeah. So they took one for each region. We're lucky because we do have Deb also, because she is on the CCI board. So she's also a small county as well. But what we do is we go to these meetings and we have discussions with the state on our thoughts on it and then on what they're trying to implement right now. I wish I could tell you more on it. There's not a lot to say because they don't have a lot of information they're giving us right now. And they just, like Jennifer had said, they want to regionalize us. And so I may have to meet with you guys sooner than later once I do gather that information. Does that make sense?
It does. And I guess just a really quick question that I have is, in these meetings, is there a consensus to what the directors are thinking they want? Are they wanting to push back or are they going with the flow?
They're not going with the flow. I'll just say that. There is a lot of different thoughts and opinions about it. It's just whether or not the state is going to listen to us. Does that, you know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. So go ahead.
So just real quickly, in a nutshell, what do we mean by regionalizing it? I've heard 7 and I've heard 4 or something like that, different regions, but what would either of those mean? Would that mean anybody that wanted services would have to call into some centralized location, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
So help me understand.
That's a wonderful question, Kelly. And when I get that information, I will let you know. It is so right now a mess. I'll be honest with you. It is crazy right now. And as soon as I get that information, I will let you know. I know they want to do a central calling hub. But what that looks like, what they're going to do, we don't know.
So Carmen, my biggest concern with that is that we lose control of our situation. So I encourage you to put your boxing gloves on and do what's needed.
Yeah.
Got your back.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I do plan on it. So because I just don't think it's really good for small counties. And that's what I'll say.
Have they released this map yet?
It sounds like there's a couple different ones from what I'm hearing. So no, and I'm hoping to get more information. I'm hoping that maybe Deb's heard something different or Heather. But no, I have not seen the most current map because they're doing different, like they sent one off. But I haven't heard anything, since then. Sorry, that's my directors. If you hear that.
Okay,
beeping in
no,
the
I know.
background.
No, you're fine. I know you've got that meeting with them, so you and I will connect again because CCI is also having meetings with commissioners, so we'll connect.
Yes. Okay, that sounds great. And I might have more information after, but yeah. Thank you guys.
Okay.
I'm so sorry not to give you more information right now.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye. So we will adjourn as the Board of Social Services and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. So moving on to line item O.
I think we did O.
No, we did. Oh, sorry, P.
There we go.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, I would move approval of amendment number 3 to CDPHE contract number 2026-0043 for public health.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. And I don't have any, what was that?
You said 0043
0049.
or no? Okay,
I think I might have said 3.
you did. I was like, I got something.
Who knows where that come from? Sorry.
Okay.
The 3 is clear back over here at the beginning of the line.
You're thinking of contract 3. You guys have any questions on that one? No. It's an annual contract, just giving us money. Sean, will you please call the roll?
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Moving on to line item Q.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the 6th amendment to the AAA grant award between Area Agency on Aging of Northwest Colorado and Rio Blanco Department of Social Services for the White River Roundup Program 20-11-16.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So Alexis, are you on there?
Yes, I am.
So from the way that I was reading this contract, this is just they're giving you that additional, what was it, $87,000 or something like that?
This was just the carryover funds that other counties did not use, so they carried them over to us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions?
Silly them that they didn't use it.
Well, exactly. We'll use it.
And they say, we'll take it.
All right, Sean, will you please call the roll?
O'Hare.
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to line item R.
Madam Chair, I move approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Garfield County for child support assistance in 2026.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Carmen, can you explain to them what you explained to me as far as, because I know we had originally, when we talked about this, was only going until, if I remember correctly, June of next year, 2026, but I thought you had told me that maybe we might have to go till the end of the year.
Correct. We do have to they're going to do a county year rather than a state year. So we can have those conversations about other things like in March and stuff like that and have time to kind of make a good decision.
Good.
For what we want to do with that program.
Okay. And you're good with that?
Me? Yes.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
John, will you please call the roll?
Overton,
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Motion passes and I'm sorry, I need to take a small break. A 5-minute break. We will come back at 2:45. You got it?
Make sure the road and bridge.
So. Nice talk.
So we're reconvening from our recess for the Board of County Commissioners. And we are on the master fee schedule that we did during the 2026 master fee schedule that we talked about during the work session.
Okay. So, Madam Chair, I plan to break these into sections so that we can look at them each section at a time. So, do we only need to approve the ones we've got changes to, correct? We don't need to do the other one,
You need to approve the whole schedule.
Yeah, you need to
but
approve the whole.
all in one in the end. Okay, then I'm
Right,
gonna
okay.
suggest that we go through it and have a conversation before we make a motion then. Because otherwise we're gonna get a bunch, we could have amendments.
Bunch of them.
And I don't, okay, it's up to you, your call.
Same as you.
I'm just gonna tell you, in the last 2 minutes, I haven't had time to look at them to understand them all.
Oh. Okay, let's have discussion because you're right. We are going to we possibly could have a lot of amendments.
Okay,
So let's break
So-
it down. So we didn't have any in administrative and or assessors. So the next one is building. And I think the big question here is, do we stay status quo or do we change to these flat rates? And one of the things that I requested during the work session that actually Leaf offered up, and I liked his suggestion, if we were going to do the flat fee, is to get us what the average is for the last 3 years, which they did immediately, which I appreciate you guys doing that. And so right now, the suggestion for roof flat fee is 100, mechanicals 50, and solar is 100. What they came up with their flat or the average cost for roofing over the last 3 years, so 23, 24, and 25, is $233.86. And mechanical, the average was $110.13. And solar is $295.18. So they put a suggested flat for roofing with those numbers as at 250, mechanical at 120, and solar at 300. So that's where the discussion needs to be had.
I want to ask you a question. If in the current schedule that we have right now, how much would the roof be costing them at a $250 rate?
Let's see, we're gonna be at,
My concern is that the guy that is gonna fix a roof for $5,000 is gonna get hit for a big fee. And the guy that puts a $50,000 roof on is gonna get,
the benefit.
Yeah.
So the-
If you have a roofer that does a roof for $5,000, let me know. Yeah.
You can use me as an example on mine that I just had quoted a month and a half.
Sure. I don't remember what that was. Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, $26,000 roof would be right around $250. Rough. I mean, I don't have that equation in front of me. But it would be roughly right around
25,000 would be $250.
26,000. So it's just less than 10% typically is is what these come out at. So an $80-some thousand roof, like a Elk Creek roof, $80-some thousand roof, come in at $800. So, which is big roof.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I know somebody that just had a roof put on and it was around 89,000.
Yeah.
There are those out there.
Surely, yep. And remember that $80,000 roof that I just mentioned, that's part of this average. Yeah,
Right.
keep that in mind.
Exactly. So I'm gonna recommend that we just stay with status quo.
I think that's where I'm at too.
Done. Yeah.
Because I don't want to get the little one for extra. My opinion.
For clarity, if I may, is that for roofing, mechanical and solar across the board?
For clarity.
Thank you guys for doing all that work.
Yeah, sure.
Appreciate it.
Actually, and probably got the floor. Thank you to Nate, the guy downstairs.
Oh.
And these numbers talking about, we have them all electronically. He's top notch.
Thanks.
I was wondering whose handwriting
Handwriting
it
that
was.
was.
I didn't think it was
That's
either
fine.
one of you guys.
His handwriting.
I read like a girl.
Nice
Very
handwriting.
nice
I like
handwriting.
it. Like it.
Leave that one alone.
Okay, so then what was the other things we had for you guys? Anything else?
Nope, not on building. That was the only thing on building, right?
On building, that's correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Do we want to jump to planning since Leaf's already up there?
We're gonna put that, my understanding is we will remove the planning changes off of this amendment. And we will look at going to a different method of calculating and maybe reimbursement, possible reimbursement.
So we'll have that conversation down the road.
So
Okay.
let's make sure it says that on that we don't have any changes on here. Yep, good. That's what it says here too.
We make
We
a
can-
suggestion that when the motion is made, that we accept any changes made to the planning portion of this fee schedule.
Say that again.
Is that how you would do it, ma'am?
Mhm.
Yes, I would accept any changes. If you approve the current fee schedule, I would accept any changes that are being proposed for the planning portion of the fee. schedule.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, glad you do.
That's just clarity. Correct.
For the planning portion of it is what he's saying.
But there isn't any, so,
They're going to be planning for it.
but it's not approved in here.
No.
So we don't want to address it in here. Do we?
No, we had talked about doing it in there, where we were gonna take out on the limited impact and the major impact, we were gonna take out anything $1 million or more, where we multiply that by 500 additional dollars per every million. We wanna not do that. We want to leave the planning portion status quo for now.
The status quo, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So then I'm
Okay.
gonna have to change that back around
Well, Chrissy will address that.
if you scroll down.
I'm confused now.
No, you're
So you,
church right.
so you want it to go back to what it was in 2025?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I can do
so
that.
therefore, yeah, as long as we get it that way on here, then we will just approve it as it.
Right, and then the oil and gas one that you guys had added in.
$47 an hour per administrative review. We would like to see that.
But that's up in building.
It isn't. So oil and gas does have its separate little down at the bottom. When you scroll
Oh.
down past planning, you'll see there's an oil and gas section.
Yes.
So just to let you know, so almost all oil and gas goes through a special use building permit of some sort. So that is building, so we do 47. If there is ever a situation where there is no building permit, we still want to have the ability to charge $47 an hour for an administrative review. That's why it's added.
So right now, the way that it's written under planning is we have 250 on here for administrative review. You're wanting to change that.
No,
No.
if you scroll on down, you'll see the oil and gas section.
Under planning,
under. plan.
right, we're looking at that, and it
And it
shows
shows
250 right
250.
now.
So it must not have updated.
Is there a way we can put it up here on the screen, so we all see what we're talking about?
Chrissy, she-
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Saving up. Oh my goodness. Give me just a moment and I will.
I'll do- I'll do a
I can
quick-
get it.
I'll do a quick explanation if you don't mind. Or just leave it.
I think we just need to look at it and see what she's really got, because if you're not looking at it,
Yep.
I think that we don't know what we're not all on the same page yet.
Because you have $47 an hour up in building for administrative review, but that's different than what we're talking about down in
It
planning
is, yes. ma'am.
with oil and gas. Okay.
Planning has its own administrative review. Building has its own administrative review. And oil and gas has its own separate.
How much do you want on administrative review for oil and gas?
47.
Yeah, let's
Instead
move
of the
here.
flat 250.
No, that's gonna be Leaf side. Leaf is doing the 250 administrator review. I know it's so confusing.
No, we just need to be looking at it, so everybody's on the same page.
But I'm looking at, oil and gas. No significant impact operations, oil and gas pipeline. Administrative review here is $250.
That needs to be changed.
That's what I was asking. It used to be 250.
Testing.
You're still on.
Line 193. That helps. Who's doing it? Or who's got that?
Vicky's got it. So Chrissy, do you have control of the screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it,
193.
for the. Right there.
191, actually.
Yep.
If you get rid of the people,
Yep. there it is.
can I drive? Is this what does it? Okay. I thought she had a hold of it, right?
Oh, I'm controlling my screen in here.
Under no significant impact operations on the.
Yeah.
About as big as I can get it.
Yep,
That's fine.
that's good.
So, no, just the administrator review. Okay, that needs to be up by the hour. I want to keep these to go.
So who's driving the ship now? That's me. Okay,
As you can
so you're
see,
gonna type it in there, perfect.
no significant impact operations, oil and gas pipeline. So you got the first million. That's the one line, second line, third line is administrative review, 250. I want to keep that the same as what we do with the building, and that's $47 an hour.
Okay, so those are all correct now.
And you're wanting to leave yours up above at the 250.
Yep.
That's correct. Want to make sure we're all on the same page.
A lot of line items.
You got that, Chrissy? Perfect, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, and so that's basically no changes to planning. That's just like it's been. Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go back up to clerk and recorder. You only had the death certificate of a whole dollar. Good job.
Which
Sorry,
was mandated.
Yeah, it was with the 2024 legislative updates that they did with the $43 for the base. That got attached to that and it was $3. And two of that we don't have to adhere to, but the dollar would be, the county would have to incur the dollar for each death certificate received. So we just left it at the $1 instead of at 0. Because for whatever reason, that's where everyone else is going with it. A few counties just took away that all the way, and we just kept it at the $1.
Well, I would suggest that it costs you a lot more than $1 to handle all that money. I mean,
The
to
whole
do the
dollar?
bookwork and handle, to do the
To handle a
bookwork and
dollar.
all of the stuff to handle that $1, it costs you more. It's kind of like pennies. Costs more for pennies now, you know, it's,
So are you suggesting a 0?
for
Is that-
accounting work, I think that's cheaper.
If that's what you think is good, we can do it, but we're just gonna incur that cost. It's just, I know it's not that much, but it's,
Well, help me out here. We're incurring more cost doing all the bookwork and stuff.
Run it through
the system
the
instead of,
than $1.
Do we have to
Yes.
do we have to do the bookwork anyway?
yes.
So that takes my theory out the window.
So we do have to do it. I mean, we have to.
Okay, all right, so I'm all right with it if we gotta do it anyway to prove it.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cause I think
It's just- it's silly, the stuff they
I
give us.
know. I know.
Call your legislator.
I'm going to see him tomorrow, so it's going on my list.
You know, take the, you know,
About
say
how,
they're 43 for them to do it, which it's a single page of something for someone to record that
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
well, think about that, Kelly. That's a good
So,
point. That's one of the
It's,
things.
it's an example
That's
of a
just-
bunch of,
Yeah.
And then what it costs us, what it costs them,
Yeah.
what it costs everybody all the way through the system.
Yep.
Is,
so what bill was that? Do you
I
remember?
will get back to you on that.
Okay.
I know what it is. I have it downstairs on my
Okay.
desk.
The
so I will get
$1
that to you.
Fee for, death certificate.
Mhm.
We're just adding to your list.
I'm ready for them. Let me know and
Got her
I'll take.
gloves on and she's tightening them. Like, let's go.
Gonna be out in her garage kickboxing tonight.
Okay.
All right, and that was the only thing for you. Meeker Fairgrounds, what did we end up with Meeker Fairgrounds? We took off. I don't have it in front of me.
So it's online, like 138. Is the indoor arena. Oh, it's down to 2.
We have the indoor arena, outdoor, and all fairground facilities. We took off
Indoor arena, 250.
huge section. I don't.
So here's the old one. So
Okay.
it was, we had all this stuff in here, all these different things, auction sales, all the way down through concerts, had all different prices. We deleted all of those. Everything now is showing as an outdoor arena, $300 a day, right? Okay. Now, so then my only primary concern was the small clinics, but are you guys game with if I've only got 5 people, they can do the by person, by hour? Right, okay, so as long as we can let them do that, I'm perfectly fine with that. Cause that takes care of,
yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I just don't want to make it where they can't afford to go up there and
Right.
buy.
Planning we did.
That
Treasurer didn't have anything. Public trustee didn't have anything, correct?
And then can I get just some clarification on that for the master fee schedule for the fairgrounds? Do I put it in as over, how do I, I guess, how do I word that where like they can charge per hour per person? And like if it's cheaper or is it just can also be reserved for as multiple people per hour if you pay per person?
Try not to complicate it. They just know.
there's a note section down here that maybe you guys could send her what you want to do.
Yeah.
That work?
That'll work. Thank you.
Okay, and then we have sheriff's office, so remind me which ones we changed because it was due to
The
legislation.
signage,
Oh, that's right.
because they can't purchase those signs for that.
Trespassing sign.
So
Okay.
that's gonna.
Excuse me just a second.
Mhm.
Back to fairgrounds.
Mhm.
Reserve ride, oh, indoor is 10, outdoor is 5, right? Okay. I thought it was different on here, but no, we're right. Sorry, never mind.
All right, so then that was the no trespassing sign, which was required, correct, Vicky?
Yes,
Yes.
it's not required, but that's the cost of the signage has gone up. So they can't purchase them for cheaper.
Then road and bridge didn't have anything. Columbine Park didn't have any changes.
I didn't look at
Will you
Columbine
please
Park,
look at that?
but are we there yet to make Columbine and this one the same?
No.
Or we're waiting
No,
to
no,
do
no,
that?
no, no.
Okay,
I'm not. Sorry. I don't
Okay.
think we're there yet.
so let's shoot to have that
Looked over.
coordinated within the first quarter of the year.
And then solid waste landfill. We are keeping it status quo. Like we weren't gonna oh no, we are increasing the drill cuttings and drill mud to reflect the increase from the state that's not. So Chrissy, you're gonna have to get with Toby on that increase, which whatever that dollar, because you were saying that it starts in 2026, then there's another one in 27, and then is there one in 28?
Yes.
My question would be of you two, do we want to just take that 28 and just do it right now? Or do we want to come back every year and increase it per whatever the state's charging us every year?
We review this every year, don't we? Wasn't for that. I don't care.
I don't either. It's whatever you guys want to do.
I would be fine with just putting the 28 on there. That's just where
Okay, we'll just go with the 28 rate then.
Okay, and then I was under the understanding, and I have it updated to the $5.25 per load.
Yeah, that will be the minimum.
So because of the penny
After
issue.
that.
So yes. Other than that, everything else was staying the same.
The tax rate.
It depends on the product. We got it.
But your minimum charge is $5.25, but when you have like.
It's $5 just with the
Okay.
minimum is now it's $5.18.
$5.18, so the 18 cents is the tax.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But I can
I
change
couldn't
it.
remember
I can
that.
change it in wastewater just to do it flat.
Yep, that'll cover your taxes, no matter what size load.
And broadband, we didn't have anything. Fairfield, we didn't.
I don't understand where are you getting that tax?
In the wastewater, it was a $5 charge and with taxes.
Yeah, what's the tax? Because the sales tax.
Yeah, it's the sales tax, I believe.
Is 32 cents on $5.
Okay, then it was there when I come into place. So
It probably hasn't been updated.
I can look at
Still
that.
32.
Sure.
No, that's fine. We're good at 5.25. I was just wondering where you coming up with 18 cents tax? Because that's not the math I was using.
Yeah, who knows when the last time.
Okay.
Okay. Broadband, nothing. Fairfield, we didn't change anything there, and weed and pest, we didn't change anything. So we are good with everything at this point, with the few changes that need to be updated on the master fee schedule.
Where's my agenda? So, Madam Chair, I move to approve the 2026 master fee schedule as on the screen. And when Christie hits save. You don't have to put that in there. And you have to second it.
Oh, second. I have a motion and a second. The only thing that I would, and so do have a couple questions, Vicky, for you. So when I was looking at other counties and their fee schedules, they had every single department. There was a couple of them that had every single department on. So whatever that department charged, so like there was a section for human services, there was a section for public health. But when we do a core request, so I'm looking at that, that's on this one. They had a separate one for human services on this master list that I saw. Is that something we need to maybe take a look at and just have one master list of charges? Or
I would have to defer to Dawn, especially with the DHS matter, because they do not fill in the same core of reform that
right,
the rest of the, sheriff and DHS and public health do not get that same form. So I don't know that their statutory forms are the same, because parents probably don't have to pay for a request of information, I would think. And so I don't know.
I think we need to look into that, because if we're not charging correctly, because those DHS ones, as you know, and we've had those, take a lot more time sometimes than these other ones. I'm not saying that it is different. And so that's when I saw that, I was like, and like the public health was all their immunizations and how much they charge, so that the public could see one place of how much this county charges.
It could be to Vicky's point that there are different statutes might mean different amounts for courts, depending on where you're getting.
But I would still want that on one master list. I mean, let's look into that. And I can send you the one that I saw that I was like, we don't have any of that stuff on ours.
Okay, that's a good point. And then it's a Lynn thing.
Perfect. Thank you, Vicky. Sean, will you please call the roll?
O'Hairn,
Aye.
Overton,
Abstain.
Richfield.
Motion passes, and moving on to line item T.
Okay. Madam Chairman, I move to award a contract for the 2025-2026 Old Meeker Landfill Fence Project to CRC Inc.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. And do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Where's the winning bid from? Was there anybody local that we considered the 5% on?
Yes, they were second with the 5%.
So that you considered the 5% and they were still lower?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all the only question I have.
What was the total amount?
33 and change.
Yeah, 32,000.
And how many, so I'm calculating miles here, so thinking about what the private landowners are thinking, what is that by the mile?
It's about $5 a mile, roughly.
A foot, you mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Roughly 60.
Yeah, I did the math on it,
Okay.
which was pretty good.
Okay, John, will you please call the roll?
Richfield.
Aye.
O'Hairn.
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to line item U.
Is that me?
No, it's me. So, Madam Chair, I would move approval of Amendment 1 to the Meeker Airport Fixed Based Operator Agreement for the sake of discussion.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second.
Yes, you're up for discussion.
Okay, up for discussion. So, currently, both the fixed base operator agreement and the airport manager agreement are ran concurrently. Coulter Aviation has been providing those services. The last fixed base operator and airport manager agreements were executed in January of 2021. They were a 5-year term, and so the current contracts expire on January 1st, 2026. I've issued a letter to Coulter Aviation notifying them that we weren't intending to auto renewal the 5-year agreements moving forward, that we were going to execute these 2 amendments. I've shared those amendments with Coulter Aviation. And we felt that given the changing circumstances at the airport with us completing planned completion next year of the new fuel farm and and additional areas where we feel that the FBO contract and the airport manager contracts need to be expanded on and revised on, that we would extend these services for 1 more year, given the terms in the amendments, revising the base contracts to allow for us to draft those agreements and bring them up to current standards for both what are required by the FAA and then, of course, how the operations at the airports have changed. I had not heard back from Lanny on his review of those amendments, but I did notify him that that's what we were going to do. We had discussed in the agreement some of the terms in the FBO contract agreements and airport manager agreements was that the county was going to take the lead on negotiating, executing, and managing the ground leases that was originally in the airport manager contract or the FBO contract, and a few other items that are in there. I felt from our conversations, Lanny was on the same page as that. I know he was looking for some terminology too for enforcing some of the rules and regs out there for use of the hangars and that type of thing. So I think that he is on board with taking this time to really clean up and renew these agreements for 2027 and on.
So I feel like we're in a bit of a spot here that we don't have an option but to approve them. In the future, let's make sure that we have any contracts that are pretty major contracts like this at least 2 months in advance of the board meeting to approve them, so that if we have concerns, we can come back and get them addressed. I'm okay with this, kind of, but I am very frustrated with it. So let's just work. And I know it's been a tough year, and so I'm going to let it slide because of that. But in the future, I want to make sure that we have time to really look at contracts and make sure that it makes sense to the whole commission.
I would respond back that unless additional resources are allocated, meeting those timelines are not going to be feasible.
And I understand your situation, but I also understand this is a 5-year contract. And so we've known it for 5 years that it was going to expire at the end of this year. So I guess, like I say, let's just work to move that direction and do let us know where you need assistance. I absolutely would like to hear that.
I need assistance in legal consultation. That means the county attorneys, that means consultants that have expertise in aviation contracts, those type of things. For these things all fall on one individual and one department isn't just, I mean.
I agree. Do we have money in the budget for next year to consult with some people and do that?
Well, I mean, again, you just set aside about $987,000 in contingency.
Yeah.
And if that is, the direction, I don't know what a consultant would.
we don't, and I
do that, but
understand.
Certainly.
I understand we can use that, but I thought we had a discussion that we knew that we were gonna have to get professionals involved with this, and,
Because,
but I guess we didn't give money set aside.
and Eric, I really appreciate you saying that. That's what we need to hear from you, is I gotta have some help. Please don't hesitate to say that, okay?
These contracts are very complex.
Yes.
This isn't typical contractor scope of work contracts. These are,
And I don't think
Very
the typical county attorney, I mean, again, Todd was the one that drafted this off of what
We've done one before.
Mr. Holter had done. So, yeah, it was one of those things that historically it's been pretty minor in scope, and there's some pretty major situations that we need to address.
Yep.
We don't even know what those are. So, I mean, I could see this, going out, we put out an RFP maybe for an attorney. I don't know. Eric, is that how you would approach getting someone to do that? RFP?
well, the difficult part is last week I had a conference call with the administrators that are responsible for Route, Grand, and Steamboat Springs airports, and they are trying to figure out the same things. Typically, the well that airport sponsors have gone to is their airport engineer. However, these are outside of those typical services. The services that, like, for example, Eric Garber does is, they do the airport engineering side and then the planning side, but that the administration side of the airports is a different area. And so they were asking me on who we used, and we used a firm to help us along with some of our ground leases. Some benefit, some cost, so I do think that we need to find those consulting services to help us along, especially that specialize in aviation. It's still a very new world for me, so the problem that I hesitate in just sending an RFP out is how we evaluate that RFP. When we haven't quite gone down this road before. If it was in the other area of expertise where you said, hey, do we send out a proposal? I would say that generally in other areas, I'd have that ability just to review and make my recommendations, but that's kind of something that's new. And I think that there's a number of other airports and sponsors that are kind of asking the same questions. And so a proposal is always a great start, but we got to keep in mind how we're going to evaluate and what we're going to ask for in the proposals.
So I think that's good that you're talking to those other airports, and maybe somehow you can work that in conjunction with them, because generally the way that this government stuff works is one entity spends the money to get this done and everybody else steals it. So it modifies it a little bit or whatever, but I think that's good that you're working with those other airports, and maybe we can do something in conjunction with them or get trade ideas or whatever, but they're probably, excuse me, they're probably in the same position as you. In fact, one or two of them I know are just as new at it as you are.
Well, and I know definitely we mirror a lot with Route County on how we've structured the management of our airports with the airport manager position, and so we definitely are in the same place, and same Grand County has gotten a little bit of a lead on us on how they've kind of done some things, and then of course Steamboat is they're much further than we are, but they're still kind of asking the same question. And so I can reach out to them and see if the other airports would be interested in doing a combined RFP for these legal type of consulting services at the airports, and see if they want to do some cost sharing, because really when it comes to our airports, we know that DIA and Colorado Springs and Grand Junction, the bigger airports, a lot of what they use and do does not apply to us just because of the scalability of it. However, with a lot of these other smaller sponsors like Route and us and Grand County, we do mirror a lot with the size of our airport, the functions of it, and of course, usually the people like myself that are doing the administration have to wear a number of hats, given resources, and so I can send it out to them and see if they're interested in partnering with us with RFPs, and we can include a kind of a from top to bottom review of policy, procedure, FBO, airport manager, and ground leases to see how that all fits. And if they're in on it, then we can draft that. I think that would also help with reviewing of the credentials and proposals on that because we have another set of eyes. What's nice is, like I said, Steamboat Springs is a lot further along with us, even though they're a smaller airport, but they have a lot of the aviation experts that have, that's their career-based expertise versus, like us in Route County, where it's kind of grouped into some of our other areas where we have some non-aviation people and then people.
Help me, so Route County and Steamboat has their own airport? So, or is it which one is Hayden, I guess is my question.
So, as I understand the history of it was, there was a point where, Hayden, the county, but Hayden's in,
The route.
yeah,
It's in Route, so that,
not right. I was thinking,
Moffett?
Moffett.
Okay,
Moffett,
okay.
not Route. So,
okay.
Moffett
I was
County.
thinking
So
that there were two.
I
Okay, no,
corrected
you're fine.
Moffett County.
Okay,
It was, Candace with Moffett County's doing the airport.
okay,
Route County owns Hayden. At one point, when Hayden got developed airport, then they gave Steamboat Springs, the city of Steamboat Springs, the management of their airport. And so
okay, that makes sense.
you have an airport manager and the city of Steamboat is the sponsor for Steamboat's airport. And then you have Grand County, and they're the sponsors of the Kremlin Airport and the Grand Lake Airport. And so they're very similar in size and complexity with having the two airports.
Yeah, they have a big one and a little one.
I apologize. It's been a lot.
No, you're fine. That's,
3:30 board meetings that make for a long.
Just after Googling, just kind of, there's several good firms located in Colorado. Kaplan Kirsch LLP, specifically deals with airport sponsors, cities, counties, and authorities. Now in Wilmer, same thing. So there's like 4 top, according to Google, there's 4 top law firms that can help us go through that with current FAA regulations, which is some of the scary part, especially when we're considering we're going to have a new fuel system, above ground fuel system, and there's different liabilities than when these agreements were drafted. And
I think Eric is very capable of figuring all that out, especially if what we're telling him is get some help.
Yeah.
If you need help, get help.
Yeah.
We'll move forward. Okay.
And Eric, thank you for having that conversation with him. You know that probably. And I had to be careful. And I appreciate you doing that and having just at least broaching that subject with him so that he understands the direction of the board. And
Yeah, I think one of the things I want to commend is this Coulter Aviation, Lanny Coulter, is very passionate about our airports. He works hard out there. His efforts are appreciated. And I think he understands that both for his liability and ours, that we need to make sure that we have these agreements in place and they're covered. The FAA is just getting stricter and stricter on what they want to see from airport sponsors like us. And, they show up a lot more frequent and doing inspections while Lanny's out there. And so he's seeing that they're making this a priority. And so we need to make sure that, one, we're being good stewards of our vital infrastructure like our airports, and two, that we're understanding what is best and managing those, so we keep them as useful as we can for taxpayers.
Thank you.
Very good. And if you don't, I mean, I don't know, but if you would keep us updated at our weekly meetings every couple of weeks anyway, kind of where you're at with that whole process, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Sean, will you please call the roll?
Overton.
Aye.
O'Hairn.
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to line item B.
Madam Chairman, I move to approve the amendment number 1 to the Meeker Airport Management Agreement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we need any more discussion on this one?
Not this one, but when we get through, I'd like to ask Eric.
So the only thing, and this is, so it took me a bit, and I don't know if it matters. So legal people, the agreement just says agreement for services, but the amendment is the airport management agreement. Do we need to make those say the same thing so we know what we're amending?
Yes, I can make that change on there.
Thank you. But I mean, the other thing is, and I haven't even looked at my email, but if somebody would send me the actual, well, maybe that's from the other one. It talks about there's an attachment, whatever you call that. Exhibit that lays out what the requirement or what they're expected to do.
So
And
that
no,
relates back to the FBO agreement, which is the exhibit.
FBO is the exhibit.
You have the two different agreements, but then under the FBO, it explains out what Coulter will do.
In the airport manager contract, it says reference exhibit, I believe A. And in exhibit A, it says reference FBO agreement.
And that starts on the fixed base operator, starts on page 7. 2, 3, no.
So your fixed base operator. Okay, we don't have to do this today, but somebody needs to help me understand. It'll take longer than today, I'm sure.
Anything else? Yeah, please call the roll.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hairn.
Aye.
Overton.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Eric.
Commissioner,
Actually, I've changed my mind. I'd rather talk to you in the director's meeting.
okay.
I'll tell you what I'm asking for later, so you can.
Okay.
And are we having that tomorrow?
Wednesday at noon.
Yes.
I haven't confirmed with everyone, but Wednesday, can you two do Wednesday at noon?
We would still like to start at Mondays at 7. If you guys are still okay with that, starting this next Monday, if at all possible.
That works for me.
Okay.
Is that better for you guys?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We already completed the Board of Social Services with Carmen earlier. So we are on to resolutions. I don't know if you two have had a chance. I want to have a discussion because there's two options, A and B. And we haven't had, I don't know, I know where I sit and where some of my concerns are. One of them being that day before Thanksgiving and I received a complaint, so I'm glad you're here, Toby. I received a complaint about that Wednesday before, and it's on both of these, that we get that day off before Thanksgiving, that the landfill is closed. It's in your board packet.
See, it should be 4.
No, it's
It's like 6A or something. I think it's down at number 6.
there, right there.
John, have a stand-up break.
6 a. You're.
Yep. What was that?
We're having a stand-up break.
Oh, hand up. So anyway, I received a complaint from a business owner that they would not be able to dump that Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I know a conversation I had with Miss Vicky was, is there any way, because I mean, their complaint was holding on to that trash and it's over a holiday, blah, 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 that they would be holding on to that trash. That if there's any way that somebody could even be there just for a half a day that Wednesday to open it up for those commercial haulers. And then that Saturday, because I know you guys are open on Saturdays, that person would get Saturday off, so they would still get a long weekend.
Well, to start with, I have to have 2 people at the landfill at all times.
Okay.
Cannot go. So, and then if I give them Saturday off, then I still got the same problem with shipping holiday dates.
Why wouldn't we just close on Saturday?
They open on Thursday or Wednesday. Stay open on Wednesday is what you're thinking, and close
Half a day on Wednesday and close on Saturday.
I end up with the same thing that closed on Saturday. So they would want to bring it on Saturday for anything that they pick up. So this year just happened all in a weird.
But you're gonna have the same,
way.
you're gonna have the same problem next year if we approve either one of these. We're gonna be in the same exact boat.
Well, because Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday.
Right.
So it's always the same thing.
And
So,
we've never taken last year was the first year that we took that Wednesday off.
so I have mine to mark that out, not take the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off. I think that's unusual. And what I like is the floating holiday. So that if you've got staff that would like to do that, they can use that as one of their floating holidays.
And I mean, I know that it is an inconvenience, but at the same time, this was done at the beginning of last year.
Right.
They could have made arrangements for make sure that it.
And that was the
And or brought it up to us earlier.
I had that conversation.
Okay, thank you.
So I just wanted to make sure that, and again, because we have never done that before, it was the first time. I mean, so anyway, yes.
And I don't see it just at the landfill. I see it in this courthouse. I mean, if people are not accustomed to things being closed the day before Thanksgiving. So my guess is there were a few people coming, hold on the door. So I'm okay with eliminating that Wednesday. And then if people need that or want it, they can work it out with their supervisor as the floating holiday. I like the floating holiday. And some people have different opinions of where they want to put it.
Okay, so we would do option A.
Doing A.
So
I have
go
a
ahead.
question about floating holiday.
It's challenging for budget and finance and for department heads because they have to track every single person. And it tends to be that there are departments where there are people that wait until the very last moment to schedule, and then they are short-staffed in the departments because like everybody has to get that holiday done by X amount of dates. And so I know some of that is departments need, like the department heads needing to track, but I do know that that is part of why they got rid of the floating holidays, was because it made it so much more challenging for budget, finance, HR, and then like department heads or elected officials.
And the reason is what happens if they don't take it? Do they just lose
It
it
just goes
or
away.
do they get paid for it?
No, it goes away. You just lose it.
You know on that?
It just goes away.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I do know that there's like some challenges from what I understand, which I wish Laura was here to be explaining this, but I do know that like there are some legal things like where you offer some and then they don't get it for one reason or another. for the holidays or whatever. So I don't know. I just remember her saying something about that, but I was not here long enough to really.
So I have a suggestion that they are required to schedule if they don't take it by the third quarter, they're required to schedule it by 9/1. So that everybody knows what day you're taking off, and it makes it easier on the management. But they're required to schedule it before 9/1 so that department heads can, I don't know, it's just an idea.
No, I think so. Would that help you guys?
It helps with the plan. Yeah, just,
Okay.
and have schedules for keeping it, for, I mean, if they go past that date and they lose it, and it's easy to know. For sure.
Well, and for Thad's group, that was one of the ones that Road and Bridge really didn't want the 3 days originally because that does mess them up.
Yeah.
With they were there.
So our policy would be if they don't schedule it by 9/1, they don't get it.
You need to make that policy.
I'll send an email to Laura. So you said that you would like to stay. Did you want to come in, Danny? Come on. It's a fat.
Can I just give you my 2 cents? So the floating holidays were an issue as it requires department heads to track it, which often turns into us tracking it. And it was a lot of issues. And then there's also, we have to deal with the hunting holidays that one department gets, and that's it just turns into a lot of issues, and it's not ideal.
Tell me about a hunting holiday. I didn't know there was one.
So apparently since like the 70s or 80s or something, bridge, solid waste, the solid waste, yeah. They all get 3 holidays that were meant to be used for hunting holidays that they would get to use instead of other holidays throughout the year. Instead of Veterans Day or whatever.
Is that in a policy?
Yeah, I noticed the Road and Bridge working on a holiday, and I asked that question, and they said that they had the choice to work that day and then take it off as a hunting holiday. So they've got certain holidays that they can work, take off during hunting season. So it's just trading out holidays.
Basically floaters.
Yeah.
Okay,
For that.
So my question would be, why wouldn't we do that for all departments if we're doing it for one department?
That's a great question. If I had it my way, nobody would have.
So
If that's the one tracking it.
I would ask a legal question. If we have somebody working a holiday, do we legally have to pay them the holiday pay? I mean, even if they're choosing it?
They're not getting paid holiday pay, I don't think.
So like our-
But if they're working on a holiday,
Doesn't matter, they're getting paid straight.
They're just trading out.
but is that legal, is my question.
Yeah, because think of retail. You never get a holiday in retail. Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but you get paid holiday pay.
No, not, at least not when I worked retail.
I did.
Yes, perk. Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm. I think we have a policy to develop. Sorry. I mean, we need it consistent. One way, I like floating holidays because I might not care about this holiday and I might feel like this one is more important to me and they don't give it to me. So I like those and the day before Christmas or whatever. So, and I would support the hunting holidays, but I think we need to make that across the board if we're going to do it.
So getting back to my requiring them to schedule it by 9/1. If you did that, you wouldn't have to monitor them until 9/1, then you review everybody and you're done.
You want to make sure that your directors stay on top.
there you go, Vic.
Well, they don't have to. I mean, they through the first 9 months, they either take them or they don't. And so when you get to 9/1, if they haven't taken them, haven't scheduled them, they just don't get them. Am I making it too simple?
That's something to consider. That's
Well, then we wouldn't have the holiday issue.
I think more what you're looking at almost, it seems like, because again, yes, if you take away those regular holidays, so like Labor Day, let's say if you do away with Labor Day, then, you'll have days that you can pick and choose when you want to take off. But then there's departments that, like John's department, the state's closed. They can't do anything on Labor Day or 4th of July. Or, these guys may have things that they have to keep running trucks on, plowing, those kinds of things. So I think it gets really crazy when you start to look at that. So we can certainly look at it and maybe come up with some options, but it's not a simple thing, either this or that. I think.
And that is a good argument why the road and bridge gets it and the other departments don't, because it makes it really hard on Sean if these people are getting all of these holidays through. She's got to man that schedule somehow, and everybody's got a holiday.
So I think that it's a policy conversation to be had with all the department heads and the electeds, and let's figure out what works. But I think there needs to be some consistency. And including finances, how we track that and so forth.
I agree with that, but I don't want to do away with it because finance doesn't want to track of it.
That's fair.
I'm okay with finding a better way to keep track of it, but it's for the people. It's not. Okay.
It's us working together is what that is that we're all working together. Yeah.
So I guess,
Thank you.
You were talking about resolution, the A.
Right.
So do we want, and then getting rid of one of those, and are you talking about having only one floating holiday? Are you talking about having 2 floating holidays? Because I don't have in front of me which one is A and which one is B. So
no, it's one holiday. So it's A, and it would have, so additional holidays would just be the day after Thanksgiving and the day before Christmas and one floating holiday. And any other day designated by the BOC. So it'd be 3 additional holidays besides the legal holidays. Is that what you were looking at?
So getting rid of the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
I get rid of it, just turn it into a floater.
And turn it in. So then we would have 2 floating holidays?
I don't think we want 2 floating holidays.
No, we're having trouble with monitoring one.
Yes, I think we just keep it at 1. I think we just strike
The
the
November
Wednesday
25th.
before Thanksgiving and leave the rest of it as it reads.
Good enough.
So it's the first one, which will be resolution 29. So we're doing the second one we're not looking at.
So, then how do I handle this since we're changing everything? Is that it goes back to Laura to redraft and then it comes back on for the special meeting as another resolution?
That's what we need to do. I didn't change.
So we're not
So
even
table
gonna,
it.
we're gonna table it to the 19th.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the best option because Laura may have something that needs to be addressed.
And it makes it definite what we're doing.
Yes.
There's no question.
And it doesn't mess with people as far as the first of the year. That's off. So yeah, I don't think it messes with people aren't having to wait
on for the 19th.
Yeah. So we should be good.
But do we want to discuss what you're going to do for Christmas? Is that?
Yeah, so we're gonna run into the same thing.
For this year.
Next year we won't.
Oh.
This year is,
I just wanted you to be aware in case you've had the same conversation.
yeah, that's just this year and that's gonna happen.
And then New Year's, we're just closed.
Just New
And the
Year's Day.
county only has New Year's Day up.
Yeah.
So we have Thursday, we work Wednesday, and we work Friday.
So
Put anything in the newspaper saying anything about that? 'Cause we did, we put something in there saying that we were gonna be closed for the 3, but I don't know if the whole countywide that was implemented for, well, it's not Facebook, and it is on the landfill page, and Tina had me right away. When I said I'm not doing those holiday closures there.
So we're closed the 24th, 25th, and 26th for Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's try not to close for 3 days in a row. That's hard for constituents.
So one of you want to make a motion to table that resolution till the 19th.
I'll make a motion that we table that, the resolution 2025-29, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Rio Blanco County, Colorado, establishing the 2026 observed legal holiday for Rio Blanco County government until the 19th of December's meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Sean, will you please call the roll?
Overton,
Aye.
O'Haron,
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Motion passes. We do not have any public hearings, so we are on to other business. We have our road and bridge update.
You get anything done at all today?
Sit and listen.
For November, we laid some new gravel on County Road 10, County Road 17, and County Road 115. Mowed County Road 8, County Road 7, County Road 5, County Road 24, and County Road 3. Put some plow trucks together. Clean stock passes on County Road 5 and debris removal. We replaced the culvert on County Road 36 that had failed. Put some wings on our motor graders. Put a culvert on County Road 12 where we used to have big ass jams come across the road. Plated several roads. In Rangeley, we finished up the 202 bridge repair. So that was the whole south side of the bridge, the wing walls and everything. Reclaimed the Baxter Pass pit.
Is that finished now?
It's fully reclaimed, but we'll have to keep on to it until everything vegetates, grows back, and we can actually release it.
How long do you think that, does that take a year?
Usually a year, if everything comes back. Depends on how wet spring we have to. Clean cattle guard on County Road 120. Hauled some pit run to a washout on County Road 27. He brushed and washed a bunch of dirt off of bridges, County Road 27, 28, 2. Put a culvert in on 116, shoulder maintenance, and cleaned out a beaver dam that we have a problem with on 27. That's the update.
Tell me a little bit about your beaver dam. Is the state's working on putting more beaver in everywhere?
So they plugged the culvert, so we've got to keep the culvert cleaned out.
Beaver's still there?
Yeah.
Why is that beaver stuff? Okay. So beaver dam and a culvert. Because I mean, seriously, I want to have, when they're talking about these things, we need to talk about that. It's not only private landowners, you're impacting your local governments. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. Okay.
At what point do you address the beaver? The second or third time you have to clean it out, or you just keep cleaning it, or?
We can actually address the beaver.
You can shoot him.
We cannot.
Really?
You'd have to have a government trapper.
Because they can trap them. I mean, they have to trap them, but I thought you could shoot them. But anyway, call Justin. He comes and gets them.
Landowners can do that.
You can shoot them. You just can't trap. It's a trapping deal. But they're not protected. Yeah, call Justin, he comes and takes care of them like that.
Okay.
Yeah, save you a lot the next trip down there for that beaver. The next one might be there, but. Okay, thanks for that info.
Thank you.
We will use that.
Thank you.
I think I might mention that to the
Can I
legislature.
ask you a quick sidebar? Over to the county attorney update. We're getting a request to find out if the attorney should be involved in the meeting between the BOCC and the library board trustees.
I don't think they need to be.
Are they bringing a lawyer?
They want to know if the lawyers are invited, I think. But this was
If they
from
know.
the library district.
That's just my personal opinion, but
I
I think it's a board I mean, it's just
Yeah.
a casual conversation. I don't see any legal issues.
So, if they want to, then they can. If not, then
It will be an open work session, so anybody can show up.
But if they bring their lawyer, we partner gotta have ours.
And this is in January, right?
I believe so. I have to double check.
But I'm okay with doing it without one.
Yeah, same here.
But I'm just making a statement. If they bring theirs, we almost have to have ours.
I think we make an agreement that this is a conversation with board members. We don't need to have attorneys.
I'm good with that.
And it's the town board, the library board, and you guys, correct?
It's just a conversation right now.
And if they're gonna make it that way, then I'm not gonna go. I'm sorry.
It just
Then why are they making it more complicated?
It was Christina, and she was just asking, she's a librarian, she just wanted to make sure who to send the email to.
Gotcha.
So, I don't think they would need to have it, she's just like, do the attorneys need to be there or not? So,
So with that in mind, if that is the way we're gonna do it, you need to notify the town that they don't.
just shoot them all a message and just say, hey. Friendly conversation between the three sets, or the three boards, and
The attorneys have done enough talking.
Yep.
Okay, so what was I telling? Oh, beavers.
Okay. So now we are on county attorney, but he is in court. So we will move on to county administrator.
So finally got the budget book published and done, and we even had some last minute major complications there on Friday, but between Lisa and I think we finally got it pulled together, so it is done. We have a meeting to certify the levies. It'll be coming up on the 19th. And then there's a whole host of filings that we have to do to get the budget posted to different entities. So DOLA and all that. So there's still a little bit of work left to do on that. The 77 bridge construction project, we had a little snafu with one of the right-of-ways. I believe, just received the corrected line drawings. I can't remember what he called that.
Where the two surveys can hook together.
Yep. So that will, basically, we've got to do the same set of documentation we did the first time with a temporary construction easement, a permanent easement, and then a release of a right-of-way. It's because that road has moved in a different spot. And actually, it had moved many, many years ago. We just didn't know it. So
1961.
was that when the road changed? With no documentation. So anyhow, just happened that way.
Just think how simple life was back then.
And that's part of the reason that we have a problem, which I'll get down to that here in a minute, with our county roads, is so much of that has happened. So that's hopefully going to be resolved. I don't know if we'll be able to, I'm going to hopefully push to get those corrections, get the legal description so we can do those and get them on your agenda for the 19th. It may mean that we execute them first and then take them to, send drafts to Deidre of it. If we run into a time crunch, that you guys execute them and we see if they'll execute them.
Yeah, because the construction company needs to use this time, the good weather, to get that done.
And low water. We did also run into a minor issue, talking about moving into the water, the, fishing game, US fishing game is concerned about the pike, no, not pike minnow,
No pike minnow, was it?
No, pike minnow.
about the pike minnow.
Pike.
And their habitat,
With a K.
pike, yeah, minnow. Yeah. And, so they're concerned that their habitat might be disturbed
On this bridge.
where the break.
For the temporary dam that they're going to put around so they can, for these foundations, they're worried about the pike minnow being trapped inside of these temporary dams.
So my understanding was the pike minnow were all below Kenny Reservoir. As all it is supposedly habitat, but no pike
We
minnow.
can make the same argument that there are no fish left in there after that flood,
There you go.
but that doesn't help. I mean, they don't listen to the common sense.
So is there value in getting herd involved at all in that?
That could be. I guess. I would love to see that pressures try and get that done. If that's something we can add to there, that getting them on board to say it's not gonna impact them, you know, or I don't know how you say that. We don't even know if they're there, first of all.
No, that's, I mean, if it's that simple that we write her a letter explaining to him the situation that, and if he can make a phone call and make it happen, I mean, if it gets into a big government deal, it won't happen, but if he can just make a phone call.
Okay. I just got my text back from Karen Bud Fallon, so I was just thinking if there's what role Karen could help us there, because it's Fish and Wildlife Service.
Yes.
So they're not under DOI though, right? Or are they?
I don't know.
Say what?
Department of Interior is where Karen's at.
Mhm.
And
Well-
Fish and Wildlife Services is not they're separate.
Was this CPW?
No.
Was Fish-
No, this is
No,
a this is a federal, they're
This is
federally
Corps of
protected.
Engineers, and then
But they would be Department of Interior because BLM is under Department of
it was.
Interior.
Yeah. But
Fish and
US Fish and
Wildlife.
Wildlife
Federal.
has their own director.
Habitat. Protected
Yeah, but
habitat.
they would have their own director, but they'd still be under the Secretary of Department of Interior.
Are they?
Mhm.
I can get, on the spreadsheet that we have, Doug and I have, it'll have the information on there, and I can. pull that for you.
Okay.
Will you do that, Kelly?
Yeah, she said she'd call me back sometime this week, so
I'll get you the information. Emergency management coordination, we've been working with DHSEM, our regional representative, to kind of deepen understanding about the emergency management process, kind of strengthen, county preparedness and coordination. I've completed my IS 100 and 700 courses and began my 200. Yay.
Yay.
Lynn, what all courses do you have? I'm sure you have all those plus host.
ICS 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
So they take a little bit of time, but it's not too difficult. But, it does help you to understand that protocol. Those are the two courses that are recommended that the commissioners take.
and so what is it again? What's it called?
It is your ICS incident command.
Oh.
It's through FEMA, and it's
Okay.
the course 0100 and 0700, which are the basic.
100 and 700.
Mhm.
Is that what Danielle was talking about the
No,
other day?
she will do a different, actual meeting for the commissioners that will talk about these two things. These are just the FEMA certification piece. She does a separate training for elected officials. And that would be.
Versus a lot of legislation
Yes.
requirements.
I don't know that she ever takes a deep breath, so I don't know whether I could
She
handle
talks.
that full time.
It doesn't stop. You have to.
And you can't understand, sorry, I just go like this after she's talked for 30 minutes.
Disaster recovery transition has gone to Liz. She's doing great. We have a joint meeting with Road and Bridge and Clinton. Kelly, did you see that invitation?
I haven't yet.
To discuss the EWP plan for Road and Bridge. So I think it's the 30th at 10 o'clock.
Okay,
But
I'd call in. I can call in.
Okay. So he'll help us figure out which roads and bridges we're going to be looking at for that.
Okay, excellent.
I don't know if I'm going to be involved in that, but I would encourage, if I'm in the right spot, that we contract a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
Instead of hiring more people or pulling off of other jobs that we need to be doing it. Do it.
Yeah, this first part is for us to figure out what we're going to do and what the scope is.
And
then we would do,
Fine.
that would help us develop the scope of work that would go out for bid.
And then
Perfect.
to identify what is the expertise that's needed on that particular scope. So.
Yes, excellent. Okay.
Sales and use tax software, we finally came to an agreement that the software I wanted to use will now not work with what we need it to do. So we've backed off that. However, we've received a proposal from E. Bailey for finance assistance. And so we may try and have them look at a possible solution for sales and use tax for us while we have them here. They're going to be coming in to help us with our AP automation, conversion to Encode 10, Tyler training for both of those, as well as other things that we are probably missing in that system. We just don't know. I mean, we know we've got several pieces to that. We have a very robust system, but we don't know that we've ever used all the tools in it. So that's what they will come along and tell us.
So Vicki, what was it you said that didn't work?
GovOS. It was a sales and use tax software.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't realize. Oh, dang
Can
it.
you expand on that a little bit, why it wouldn't work? Because we went through that all and it was going to work. So
They had an integration change. The company sold to someone else and they have an integration change, which is no longer set up to connect to the state's site. So without not that it won't never work. It's that right now it is not working. So
Well, better now than after we did it and didn't
Exactly.
have the support.
yeah. The technology. And so why we have E. Bailey, and I'm going to try to put that agreement on the 19th agenda. If not, it'll be in the January agenda for those pieces of information, and then possibly a Bamboo coordination with Encode for a payroll automation that maybe there's some functionality that we're just missing. So. I've sent the commissioners an email about some leadership and customer service type training through Trust Leadership Collective, and just needing your guidance on how you want to roll with that. You want to continue the program. So there's two sets, basically on the Cloverleaf system, which has the personality assessments where you can look up and say, how do I talk to this person and why am I conflicting with this person? That is one piece of it for the original 30 people that were on that agreement. And he can come back in and do the customer service training for those 30 people. If we really want to push this down to the next level, which was the discussion that we had a couple of years ago, was doing again that same Cloverleaf system where we get the personality assessments for 30 more people within Rio, our county government. Then we'd have that database would merge and we'd be able to say, okay, now how do I interact with this person? Or, what are those talking points and who gets upset when we do things like that? So it just kind of pushes that out a little bit further. And then they would also attend those same customer service courses that we've talked about. So.
Yes. So you want feedback right now on that? Not really.
Probably not.
Let's talk about it. Bring it up in our meeting with you.
She has a full email on it. Like she breaks it down.
Okay.
I responded to that.
Yes, you did. Jennifer responded.
Oh,
she's not. I was on that one.
That's
One
just
for
kind of-
Jennifer.
I know it.
Yeah, what you want it to look like.
Dang it, Doug, she beat us to it, it sounds like.
Does that a lot.
For personnel and organization, I'm hoping to meet with all of the department heads and the ones that we've switched over that are now under me directly by the end of the year. So that'll include veterans, of course, human resources, finance, sales and use tax, public information, and natural resources. So, and Lynn and I are supposed to have a standing meeting, but somehow it keeps getting canceled. But, we did actually along that line, one of the things that we've done we've started doing is work sessions with the commissioners and the directors and myself. Those meetings are on Wednesdays at noon. They're being moved to Monday morning at 7 a.m. Those are work sessions, published and noticed. And then I have a separate work session with the commissioners that was Fridays at noon. We're moving those to Wednesday and so Chrissy will get those notices out, changing those work sessions. We sent out and got back the RFPs for the attorney services. We ended up with six responses. We have set interviews up for 2 attorneys for this coming Friday. And then we will have the following Friday an interview with 2 attorney firms, but one has also an additional attorney that would do the DHS work. And then hopefully a decision made on that 19th agenda.
What you been doing, Vicky? My gosh. And I thought the budget was just enough of a nightmare. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
For all of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We will move on to county commissioner updates. Who wants to go first? Yeah. I am.
There you go.
There you go.
Right to left. Go for it.
So I've attended all of the Wolf Coalition meetings. That turned out to be a pretty good coalition. I think that we get a lot of people involved in that. I think that we're making some headway. That I think that they know who we are. I do County Road 77 bridge meetings once a week. We do those and trying to get stuff worked out there. Yampa White Green, I attended that virtually the last time. Recovery meetings, I go to those. Directors meetings. State of the community meeting in Rangeley, I went down there with Jennifer on that. And the college and all of the people on that end of the county updated us on what's going on. We updated them. Good meeting. AGNC meeting, we had to cancel that because most of the officers were going to the water meeting in Denver to try and talk the state water board into approving the water in-stream water rights for what is that? Shoshone water rights, yeah, and that happened. It surprised everybody when they did a unanimous decision. That nobody expected that, but quite honestly, when I was watching it, the attorneys from Denver and that side of the mountain were ill prepared and shot themselves in the foot. It really worked out great.
Or maybe they just don't have a good argument.
They didn't. They were floundering. CCI Winter Conference was a good conference this year. A lot of contacts. And then I went to the 911 board meeting about what we're going to do with the 911 board stuff. And speaking of that, they've got a lot of money set aside for that console over there. So that's something that we may not. Looks like we're both doing it.
Yes.
I think that we may not have to.
You can.
And that will be a 2027, budgeted in 26 for 2027, unless something changes.
Yes, I also encouraged them to start looking around because I believe also that the dispatching is gonna go regional. We're almost gonna be forced to do it. So I suggested that they start contacting regions or people around us so that we might become the region.
We did get the regional, the state dispatch, what was it?
The award.
And, yeah.
Oh, that should go for a long ways.
We've done that 3 years.
Cool.
3 years in a row, I think. Which is good.
Yeah, that should speak volumes.
Well, we're not gonna be happy about that regionalization.
How big would that region?
Well, I don't know. I just think that the depends. I think that you could take on a couple, 3, 4 agencies with what we have. Bigger, then you're gonna have to hire more people. It just depends on how big you want to get. And the equipment but if we're gonna eventually be forced to, because of cost, pitch in with somebody else, let's try and get them to pitch in with us.
Might as well have the employees as somebody else.
We have a good setup here.
Yep.
And I think that gives us a jump on a lot of.
Thank you. I attended a couple of executive sessions. I did the NACO Public Lands meeting. We had a directors meeting. Went to the State of Community with Doug, gave updates. One of the updates that we received there, they actually had Desiderato Mine there. And they are trying to expand the mine on some BLM land. But they're waiting for their lease application to get approved. So I did contact Reese and let him know that we need to be a cooperating agency on that NEPA process when it gets started so we can support Desiderato Mine. So I did afterwards went up and talked to the gentleman and got his card, and he immediately emailed me and I forwarded it to Reese and said, hey, we need to be on top of this.
And that is huge because actually they were going to be mined out. They were almost done. But because the power plant put some scrubbers in, I can't remember, is another 20 years we got?
Something like that.
Another 20 years we got. So they're expanding into another section of the mine that's going to last a long time.
Yeah. So we've got to get that lease. We have to get that lease. So,
and
I
also
think
we talked about a tour.
So yes, as a matter of fact, the gentleman and I have been emailing back and forth. Reese also wants to go on that when I talked to him about the lease and making sure that we're the cooperating agency for the NEPA. And then Vicky also wants to go. So I am coordinating that. I'm trying to make sure that it happens before the longwall move, because once the longwall move happens, then we're going to be out for like a couple of months before they'll let us go in there. So I am trying to get it done. It won't be till next year and probably during the spring sometime.
We also talked about if that doesn't take all day, that we could whip over to Bonanza
And I did throw that out to him already. And I did text a board member for the power plant and said, are you guys okay if we, once we do the Desiderato, then we want to zip over to the power plant there in Bonanza? It would make sense to watch the whole process or understand the whole process between the two agencies or entities. And he said, absolutely. He said, I'll get you connected. I said, well, I'm already talking with your guys' attorney, so I will continue.
I had an idea. Maybe we could ride the electric train over.
I don't think they'll let us do
on top of the car.
on top of the coal.
Is this something that you're gonna be I mean, this would fit in well with what Lynn does as far as some kind of press release that you've done these things. I mean, because we want to try and support that. So if there's limited space, I would forego my seat so that Lynn could go. If there's space, then I'll go. But I do think that that would be something she could write, publicity up.
Oh, thank you. I would love to. It helps a lot to get out and see things and just faces.
I think that'd be right.
Those coal cars are large.
You can wear helmets. It'd be all right.
Pretty nervous about going underground, but
Yep. It's been a long time since I went down one of those mines.
Really?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Talk about black.
Yes. So I met with a few staff. I had a meeting with CHSDA and Carmen once we heard, or we're trying to figure out what was going on with the changes that you heard early with Board of Social Services, as far as the change potentially at the state level. So working really with that CHSDA organization as well as CCI. CHSDA has a lot of influence at the state level, so that's why we need to stay connected with them as much as possible. Attended CCI, did the conference, which was I would say it was people keep asking me how it was, and I said it was very intense for us, for the human services people. It was just intense. And then to continue on, we also had a meeting that Friday with just commissioners talking about those changes potentially and what the commissioners are truly thinking. And they're split, just kind of like, that's why I was asking Carmen, where are people at? Are they truly split? And because we as commissioners are split too. Do we do the pushback? Do we go in and say, okay, this is what we want? So we're actually writing a letter. I need to go in and read from CCI and to the state and kind of lay out where we sit with the non-information is what it comes down to. I attended the Colorado Child Abuse Prevention Trust Fund Board that I sit on, and I met with a handful of special districts for multiple reasons. It was kind of weird. I had a bunch of calls from different special districts on just different issues. So those are things I did.
I went on vacation. It's kind of cool. Let's see, but I come back on Sunday night and I went to DC or to Denver Monday morning for CCI. So last week was my first week back. So my CCI thoughts, I went to a couple different, with others, but two that kind of stood out to me. One that I'd like to visit with you guys just a little bit, the whole AI thing. Did either one of you go to that AI? Or Vicki, did you go to the AI?
I did not.
Okay. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, but it's how you use it and make sure it gets used right. So Vicki and I, there is a class that was highly recommended that NACO does. It's an AI deal. It's several months long, so forth. I kind of would like to do that, but I'd like to be sure. I mean, it's $1,000 for one person or $750 a person for two. And so I would welcome anybody else. And so Vicki and I talked a little bit whether that would be our IT guys or one of the department heads or who that might be. But anyway, I would like to do that. The company that was presenting will come and sit down and have a conversation with us about, they start with, what are your goals? What do you want? What do you want to improve? Where do you want to go with it? Instead of just saying AI do everything. And I think that would make a lot of sense for us. Like there could be, and they would come and just, okay, let's talk about one department that wants to move in that direction. They will just focus on that. And Grand County is using them. So if any of you have the chance to visit with Grand County commissioners and what's your thought, see what their thoughts are, but they are using them.
To piggyback just really quick, the school district has a AI program that does, there is so much to what it does for us as teachers now that like it'll generate our lesson plans and bring in standards from Colorado for us. It creates my IEP for me. I mean, literally breaks out. I just download my test and then it creates my whole IEP, which before would take me 3 or 4 hours to write. Now, I mean, you have to read through and make sure it's correct, but worksheet generates. I just can't even tell you how much is in that program, and they're just growing and growing and growing. So I would like to see what we could do, make life easier for all of us.
I like that, but I just caution you need to verify everything that comes out of that.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. And the part that I think where we can use it the most, and this is where the customization comes in. Because I shared with him, I communicated with Trevor and shared with him the programs we're using and stuff. And he said, those are good ones. But what we could do, what my goal is to tell it to only use the stuff that's in the county already. I don't want our stuff going outside. And if we want outside stuff, we can ask for it. But I want to be sure there are those sideboards that it's not sharing our information out. So, I mean, so many opportunities that I think of being able to use it. So I would like to pursue that over the next year. So I may spend some of my travel money to do that. The other thing that I went to that was extremely frustrating was the whole sustainable, affordable housing assistance and the housing needs assessments. And when I asked the question, what might the ramifications be if we don't play? And nobody has any answers. So I don't think that there's an issue there. And granted, I agree, Vicky, as Vicky has said, well, they could withhold, grant funds and so forth that way. Well, I'm game to test the waters there on some of them. I mean, some of them, yes, some of them, no. I think it's one of those things. Wildfire resilience piece is another one. I absolutely hate that that's getting shoved down our throat and how we're going to deal with that. But I am a believer that homeowners need to do, they call it home hardening these days, but defensible space is what I always knew it as. I 100% agree people need to do that. If we could figure out a way to encourage that, support it, but in my opinion, it's only insurance companies can do it. That's where it should lie, but that's not where they put it. So those were my frustrations. It's CCM. I did get to talk to a lot of different commissioners about different things, and it was very valuable. So other than that, I've played a lot of catch up. I still haven't gotten through all of my emails. The recovery meeting, I'm excited about where Liz is going with a lot of this stuff. She's getting her feet under, I think, pretty well. It's funny to me to hear Liz say that she's overwhelmed. I don't think you hear that very often, but I think she'll get there. I spent a lot of time looking at budget and the financials. I greatly appreciated Lisa sending us those budget to actuals. And it's not the paper I wanted. I just want to share with people, including ourselves, the one that is about the where we're about for the last 5 years. Here, did you guys look at that? What Lisa sent us?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did.
So had her show us kind of where we're at since 2020. So as an example, so while oftentimes we've budgeted it in the negative, which just makes my skin crawl, the ending fund balance has grown 18 million to 29 million in the last 5 years. And all four of those 5 years we were initially budgeted in. So just to help relieve my anxiety, I I had to have that.
And that is because there's a lot of income revenue that we do not budget.
Yeah. Yeah. So that helped me feel better. WOOF meeting, I haven't been as good at attending those as Doug, but I appreciate that information and I would agree that's been a very valuable piece. Talked about the AI class. I am, and I'd like to visit with you guys a little bit, the CCI the March meeting for CCI. I would really like to go to that. I'm just questioning if there are other times that it might make sense to go back and just do direct contacts somewhere, in DC. So those are some thoughts. And then I'm going to be meeting with Anthony next week in regards to the court in Rangeley, and where we talked about if there's opportunities to save money there. And then we have our natural resource committee on Tuesday. So that'll be enough of me.
All righty. I think that brings us to the end of the agenda. We will not be having one in Rangeley, just a reminder, that one has been canceled. So we will adjourn at 4:31. Thank you.